le gona tsatsi le ra go le gontsi mo go wena as a mother of the house and also as a member of opposition go simolole ka wena go ruta gore what does this day signify and symbolize for you as a mother?
Okay, ke a leboga thata la ntlhane ke gakolole batswana gore kana parlamente e tsena gararo tota ngwaga wa parlamente o simolola ka November re go bokhutlong ba ngwaga o ntera gaufi le bokhutlo ba ngwaga gore parlamente ya ntlha ke ya November e ruta utona o re ha tebuliso ya setšhaba mo teng mo o tla ba re bolelela gone gore go tla diragala mo ngwageng oneo wa setšhaba e be le gore go tla engwe gape e leng gore e ikaegile ka November go tla ya bobedi e tsenang ka February e wena e kgaoganya madi a setšhaba gore tautona o rile go tla diragala dilo tse yaanong rona ke le ministera wa finance ka re gore ke finance ka tsone tse ene tautona a bua ka tsone nna gompieno ka re ke tla kgaoganya madi a setšhaba jaana le jaana ya boraro e go teng ke ya mariga yone itebaganseleng le melao ga se gore melao ga e tsene ka November ga se gore ga e tsene gape ka February mme gape gompieno yaanong ke yone tota parlamente ya melao go sone se o bonang gompieno jaana o tla lebelela gore gompieno e tla be teletswe ko pele ke mang a ke re le ya November e telelwa thata ke ministera ke tautona ya February e telela thata ke minister of finance yaanong e tota ke yone ya ga Speaker of the Nation.
Right. Jaaka ne ke tlhalosa gone gore motota mongwe mo leto ke ene Speaker of the Nation Assembly be rutwa ka ona mo go a gore ta ba re tshwaretse go motho ka botsa gore moleto wa go nna jaana o ra e mo pusong ya batho ka batho
na ke tle ke re ga o tlotla selo o tshwanetse gore o eme o se henako ke tsa gore letsatsi la gompieno ke gone gore o tlotla yone tsamaiso e re tebe re se morago mo marigeng oneya yaanong a re eme re le batswana a re thakanye ditsebe a re tsoseng matlho re ipotsa tota gore selo ga se le botlhokwa o sa aparela a kere ga se le botlhokwa o se ga nako o se tsentsa red carpet ya ka ba tsentse yana o se biletsa ba BTV
right go ngwana motho ka botsa gore ke le motswana go ga e le gore ke thopile jalo ma parliament go a go nkemela go ta go bua ka emelo le gore ya rama expectation kana tsolelo ke gore go diragaleng in this winter session of parliament.
Okay, go na le melao e mentsintsi e leng gore tla be re beilwe pele re tla bona order paper khantele gore e supa jang mme wena o le motswana o tshwanetse re o ipotsa ga o reditse kana molao o bua ka eng ka nto o bua ka o ipotsa gore a o ikutlwa mo teng a motho o utlwa a go buelela gore a ke re gantse re tsamaya mo dikgotla meetings re utlwa megopolo ya batho re utlwa matshwenyego a batho re utlwa dikakanyo tsa batho so tshwanetse gore ga o reditse wena o le ko gae kante ke potso kante ke motion kante ke yone molao o ipotsa gore na re a molaolo o ra nna kante o ra mme kante o ra ntate kante o ra nkgonne kante o ra tsala yame tshwanetse re ikutlwe mo teng
gone mme anong o le mother of the house o le jalo especially elected member of parliament gape o le moakganetso mo eletsa go bona gore melao e ka nnang teng in this session ya mariga ya parlamente ke eng e le gore gongwe dumelane e saletse ko maroka ne sa hua jalo attention e ne ka eletsa gore gongwe e ka nna teng gore kgona jalo go pasa
melao e tshwanetse gore e nne mentsi ebile tlo go nna mentsi ga o ka lemoga gore ile puso e tsaya e be e dira BTEP go gopola BTEP e ne e le gore ne e supa gone gore go eletswa jang gore in the next 5 years tota botswana ba ntse jang dikgwebo be di ntse jang batho ba ba hirile go le kanang-kang education e godile go le kanang-kang botsego jalo so melao ya gompieno e tshwanetse gore yaanong tota e itshega ka BTEP e re ke le minister Chombo o ne o feta kgantelo mmana ke rile go tla nna le thokgamo mo malapeng go raya gore ke tlatla ga e le gore mathata ke molao ke tlatla ka molao o gongwa domestic violence kanto o ikamanya le domestic violence ke le ministera wa education ke rile tota pompo ya education e bana ba tshologa mo yone ka form 3 ba tshologa gape ka form 5 ba tshologa gape ba sone ba go anong ke tlatla ka molao e leng gore e netehatsa gore go mo ga go diragale go feta gompieno ke le ministera wa health ke rile go tla nna botsogo bo tla tokafala go raya gore ke tlatla ka molao ya ka ba khokile ga bua gore go tla nna le a special insurance ke tlatla ka molao e leng gore se ke se le tshepiseng sele ke tla se thiba ka molao ga se gore matshwenyego otlhe a thibiwa ka molao ga go nke molao ga go nke policy ga go nke ditsamaiso ga go nke madi so tshwanetse ba lebele dilo tsotlhe gore e yone e thibiwa ke eng
right ke tsa ke re this ceremony e botlhokwanyana ka baka la gone gore monongwaga botswana o taba a ipela jo dingwaga di le 60 gore ntse re jalo re tse re boipuso and mo dilo tse le gore ke tsa ke re di diragala bonte ke baka la gone gore mo tsetsi la gompieko re bone jalo e le gore ke tsetse e leng gore 13th of July tautona pelo la seleno mo thoketse ka lona gongwe re ka amanya seo le se diragalang gona ana re go kgothatsa batswana gore nya me tota indeed ga re lebala jalo dikelo tsa bone ga go tua jalo mo parlamenteng
e bo maru jaaka o bua tota ngwaga tse 60 kana tse 60 re ntse re le mo boipisong ditiragalo di diragetse go nnile go tlhokagala ga mongwe a tautona wa pele Maloba dilo tsotlhe tseo kore ha re kopana jana ke re tlo kopana le ba bekile ba le gona ba sile go tla re tlo kopana le batho ba diplomasi ba sile go tla ba ya go bona ba eng ba ntse ba tsena ke nna kwa gore re phutha gore re kgakologela gore re ka tswa rena le mathata ha le mme gona tla Botswana o mongwe
mmeda ke a go lebogang gonne ke tebe ntse na lona mosegaro go thola gone gore go tsamaya gone ka koteng ka kwa
ke a lebogela thata Motswana go ga e dumela
right motho etso ele ene the mother of parliament ke ba jelo ka mme unit re bua sana gore se zertetseng kwano mo gompieko se ra mo go wena le Motswana se ra mo go wena mo na mosebekeng sa gompieko mme ke tsa kere jaaka se mo tshwantsong tsa gago re ne jelo le beng ba le mokawana mme ga go file nna ke nete beng ke go tshwaretse gore le ene tere tlhaloganya gore letsatsi la gompieko le ra mo go wena mo tegi dumela gongwe o tse sebaka se bikitse ba tswana gore o mang le gone gore mosa wa gompieko ke re tshokolo wa gompieko e ra mo go wena
dumela Mbatswana ko lapeng ke bidwa ke wa gila tamelang Member of Parliament for Boteti East and also the Assistant Minister of Transport and Infrastructure.
Right.
Yes, sir. Nya tsatsi la gompieno ke gone gore re bula parliament e leng gore session e leng gore go to go irwa melao so ke yone nako e leng gore ya no di bili tse e leng gore re dumela gore di botlhokwa monna wa bantsa ke nako e leng gore re tobe re gore re tsisa ya no melao kana rona jaaka re ntse re bua gore re puso e leng gore taka diphetogo this is the time now to bring those reforms those bills those laws that we will elevate us to where we want to be
re bone jalo mo motsweding ya dikgang go supa gore parliament a gompieko e na jalo lebela gore ke la nthabata ka kwana ke utsuta go 0 yana ke tsa kere ke bokedi ja gone gore 60% of batho ba ka kwana kana ke na parliament ba ba sha mo pusong ngwe lona le ba sha ke tumere ke gone go le tajelo ka megopolo e mešheleng gore ga ra e bana jalo mo parliament tse di hitileng melao e le gore ngwa heletsa go le parliament wa boteti ga mo go lene tona ke ingelo ka eletsa gore bana jalo gore pele ga mari ga hela kana tare ha session e hela e bile gore e hitile e le ke letswa ga go ile a batho ba boteti ke heng
go na le molao e leng gore o gaugile pelo a me o e leng goreng ke dumela gore o setse o le mo laeneng ke wa what do you call the contextual mineral beneficiation bill o e leng gore o nehela o lebile goreng ha ditemane di tswang teng gore before a go itse mining operators di ntsha mo go teng royalties so the idea is to actually have a framework or a law e leng goreng before the distribution ya yone these royalties we could actually now have a community development fund e leng gore e to tatisa part of the proceeds back into the community but kako ministry wa me wa transport molao e leng gore ke dumela gore kono e leng gore ra o thoka ke o leng gore re ka re the Contractor Regulatory Authority bill re itemogetse gore di ka go tsotse ka dithabolo tsote tsa puso di na di sa agwe sente in terms of quality nako and are always over budget part of it is ke gore ga gona o regulating bora kontraka o ipitela le gore ka manta ga motho register company Friday wa tendera Monday we win tendera and quality assurance ya shorter so that bill aims to address that so ke na le tsolo la gore etara parliament ya goela melawe ya go nalo be hitile melawe mengwe ke one e leng gore wa the road traffic act lone re libile koketsego ya dikatholo especially tsa ga le bella batho ba roba melao ba na ba kgwetsa for example re libile gore I think wa one wa the road traffic act go na le all in teng gwanana re o focus la tata mo alcohol ya no re itemogetse gore go na le metswako e leng gore thaka maikutlo kana ma etsa ke le ka go batla go le leng gore le nunuhile le leng gore le ka representa what I'm trying to say gore boitekanelo ba tlhaloganyo bo affectwa ke yone metswako yone not just alcohol kana bojalo so ya no we are intending gore re hetole gone the road traffic recognize other substances like drugs and a combination of of both drugs and alcohol.
Right.
So re na le tsholelo ya goreng ga go
ntse go tsweletsa.
ha ya go wela yana molao o bo setse o
ke
hitisitswe.
rata thata o bua jalo ka yone o ya ditemane ke tsa kere ke yone re tholang ruta banni segolo ba boteti ba lla ka yone gone gore ba gaetso kana temane e tona e tswa malatsela le mo kgaolong ya rona mme ga gore wa sota go ile ba lema o ka ranong o ka re ga e dire sepe gongwe motho ka botsa gore gongwe le mo parlamente wa kgaoloneo re itse gone gore go nne le selo jalo mo parlamente wa hitileng ba jara ka bo reslam ba tsogona ga mmogo le morestomo le bona ba lekile go laka kganyete mme o ka re bona ga ba kgona go henya gongwe bona re bolo gore ke eng o ka dumela gore ngwana o ka kgona go tswa ka tsiditsidi ka yone molao le gore o ka pateletsa gore gore centralization e tepela re bua jalo ka go dirisa jalo madi ga teemane e tswang teng.
Rona approach ya rona kana re puso e leng gore e ikatumeditse thata le ditshwanelo tsa batho.
Right.
That's for starters. So go rela go nna motho gore ga o taka molao e leng gore o gaugile ditshwanelo tsa batho go nna motho gore o rediwe. That's number one. Sa bobedi ke ha re o lekileng go crafta ka teng ngwana ga ke sure gore o setse o tsene mo line but keletso ke gore o tsene. And then the other thing what we did is re tsere ma parlamente o thaeleng gore di tswa mong di tswa go bona.
Right, ke go kgaole jalo tona ke tapole jalo ka ko Sirens se tona go thola jalo gone gore mo baeng ba rona ba tota pelo ba goroga mang o taba itemo ja mo tshwantsong tsa ga gone ho gore the leader of the house ke bua jalo ka honorable Moeti Sisa Mohasa o gorogile mme ke tsa ke rata go la go gone go ta guta gore mo phirimane ya gompeko mo solo gompeko ba re tshwaretseng ja ka rata go gona ka thamalo go tswa mo ka go ntsa parlamente mo toropong kgolo yone ya Gaborone. Alright, so di bana mo tshwantsong tsa go tseo ke gone mo ntung ya parlamente gone ka kwano go le gore tebe re le hano so go le go thota go ta guta gore gone mme ke mo letono re o bona o le botlhokwa mo tsatsing la gompeko jaaka ke tlhalose gore mo anela mogolo mo tsatsing la gompeko ke ene the speaker of the National Assembly ke ba jalo ka mototegi re dithapelo ko rapetso e leng gore ka kwano ka konte go spala jalo ha sta gore gile mme ke tsa kere ke nako e le gore nna la rona tebe le simolla ka yone go ta go simolosa jalo ditirelo tsa tsatsi la gompeko mo tshokologong ya gompeko ya mosupologo kgwedi ya Phukwi thola malatsi a le 13. Ke tsa kere o santse le magajela gore santse le ka kwano gone mo dikagong tsa parlamente e ke tsa nkere moeng wa me ka kwano re tshipi thata o tabantsa re tlhalotsa gore sente se re ta re bona mo ditshwantsong tsa gago tseo go diragala eng ka bongwe ya ka re bana ba togi ba ntse ba tsena gone ka kwano.
buisa tautona re ga olatlhe yaanong be go tla gore ga motlhogi re so tautona
gongwe motho ka botsa gore ka ba gorogang ka teng a go ka sengwe kana ke yona kganyela gore who is the first citizen and ba thatologana hela lo nkgonne
era go goroga mo ga bone ke gone go tlhatologana ga bone ya ka itse gore motlhogi re so tautona ke ene the first citizen anong protocol e le mo ga gone yalo gore e nne ene wa bohelo go goroga
ngwe re tlhaosetse ba ba lebeletseng mo nakong ya gompieko gore lenaneo kana ke re program of the day e me ka tsela e ntseng ja re simolla ka eng go bo go tseneng be go ta go hella mo go tseneng jaaka tebeletsatsi la rona le wela kgante jana
e ra gongwe ga nka taboga le one thulaganyo ya letsatsi la gompieno ha motlhogi re se tautona se tsa gorogile motlhogi re se mo tsamaisa dipuisano go tla moledisa go tla go goroga ha mabating a parlamente go tsong go tla boela go officing a go ipaakanyetsa gone go tla go buisa parlamente le setšhaba
right
mme motlhogi maetso mo thusa mo tsamaisa ditsamaiso tsa parlamente ke ena o tla beng a tla go simolodisa phuthego ya parlamente yone the third meeting of the second session of the 13th parliament
right
mme morago ga mo a tloga a suspende kgotsa a emise ntlo ya parlamente go itlhella metsotso e le 40 go ya ko nakong ya boraro mo ke gone anong mapalamente ba eteletswe pele ke motlhogi retso tautona ka mogwanto kana ka motsamao ba bitsang gore the know your members of the legislature procession ba tla ba tsana ka thulaganyo yone eo ba eteletswe pele ke motlhogi retso tautona a tlhomagane le mothuse wa gagwe go tle the leader of the house and leader of the opposition leader of the house go tsamaye tle dipelo antlo re tsomo go sa ana le leader of the opposition e be go tla the mother of the house ana le the father of the house e be go ba tlhomagana alo le ba nna stilo ba di komiti di haroganeng tsa parlamente e be ano go tla ma parlamente ka go tlhatlologa ga bone ka diphathi tsa bone ka bo
ka harologana ga tsone right gongwe ro bole jalo gone gore molaetsa wa ga the speaker of the national assembly ka gore re bona jalo mo letoelang tha go diragala gongwe batho ba lebetse ba ipotsa gore gone me sente mo molaetseng o re solele eng le gone gore le batswana re ka thusa ka tsela e ntseng ja for us to be part of parliament e le gore te di dira malao jalo gone ba nyakonya gompeke mo ka re bolela jalo gore mo tshwantseng wa re bona e se go diragalang re tsipi thata
re ya kan re ne re buile motlhogi re tsomotsa tautona e le tona e bile gape le tona wa madi re ndaba ga ola tlhe wa goroga o tla felegetswa yalo ke the deputy clerk a mo isa ko mannong a gagwe mme wa purapure o ke mongwe wa bone ba ba thusang go tsamaisa motlhogi re mo tsamaisa dipuisanyo
right jaaka mo tshwaragana tiro ya melena sa go tlhalosa ka kwana gore tautona motsa tautona tota wala seleno o re gele ke ba jalo ka marre mototogi manda bankusinete ga wala the jaaka ne re sa tswa go mona mo tshwantsong tsa gago mme jaaka o mona gore o patile jalo ke mo ba tsamaisi jalo ba ditirelo tsa parlamente ala tsela botswana o ke tsang ke re me ke bana ba birang go da actually ushering the dignitaries mo tshokologong ya gompieko mme tare mora go nyana hale tota ke re mona go se di simple bona jalo goroga tautona wala ha seleno ke tsang ke re metare mothanga sonang a goroga e be le jaaka pina ya setšhaba e simologa le gore ga ke go se go ha
go na le pina ya setšhaba se
right
go tsa go boela ko potsong ya go bene ya gore motswana a sologele mo puisong ya ga raetso mo tsamaisa dipuisanyo go motswana ka solela gore motlhogi raetso mo tsamaisa dipuisanyo a he batswana pego ya ha sa le parlamente e simologa ka 2024 gore gongwe ba kgonne eng e ka tswa ile yone melao ya parlamente e kgonne go e hitisa le boleng jo melao eo e buirileng mo matshelong a batswana ka go harologana yalo gongwe le go bolelela batswana gore ba ikella gore mo phuthegong ya gompieno ya parlamente ba hitlhelle eng mo tsamaisong ya parlamente
gone merete re bone e le gore motsamaisa dipuisano o ta pele ga batho ba ba bolela gore ka gore re kgonne se gone meano gompieko ga ra kgona se lete ne buika se le sa se kgonang
ra go a bua go tlhela di-challenges tse re di kgonne le tse re sa di kgonang wa tla nna o bega yalo bogolo yang re lebile one kgwetlho ya one ya letlhoko la madi yalo ke dumela gore ke nngwe ya dikgwetlho tse o tla di amang mo puisong ya gago ya go buisa mapalamente le Batswana ka kakaretso.
Mre molhasela Botswana le metsana jalo mo ngwageng wa bo 16 le ntse le bone jalo boipuso go tswa jalo ka ko moseja ka kwa gongwe mo tshwaile jalo o re lona mo le batsamaisi ba le hatseleno dipharologano tse le gore la di bona di ba dikgantse tsa melao e le go tsa kere parlamente e kono yone ke go dira jalo molao le bona le hasela Botswana le gatetse pele kana di kgwetho di le teng tsa kgatelopele o ka re tlhalosa dikgwetho ke le gone gore mo go di hemeng a ile tsa go di hema ka tsela ntseng jang
dikgwetlho ya ka sentse re buile ke gone ga gore letlhokolo la madi le le helelang le ama le go isa ditirelo ko bathong mme re le palamente ya Botswana go na le tirisano le dipalamente tse dingwe ile ka gore go abelana megopolo ya
go tsaya malebela
le go tsaya malebela mo go bone ga gore ha re lebagane le kgwetlo e ntseng yana re ka hema seemo seo yang gore re kgone gore mme le ha ntse re tlhaelelwa ditirelo gone re kgone go di isa ko Batswaneng
ke tsa kere mo motso mongwe le mongwe mo nakong ya gompieno gore ta bona jalo gore ga jalo the first citizen of this republic ba jalo ka tautona advocate Duma Gideon Boko ke tsa nkere tare moro ga sona gore ga hela jalo e be re thamala jalo mo go uteng jalo kana mo go amogeleng yone pina ya Shaba Tumelo ke gone gore tare mo nakong e se di sempelo e be a goroga Alright, mi umana njo ke tona wa tota ke mo parlamente wa Tati East ke ba jelo ka re Thabologo Furniture o ke tsankere le ene ke mongwa bale le dio ba le gore ta go bona ka kwano go ta go itsela ka tsopi di gore ga re ba jelo ka gore le puso go mpe go dire jelo mo go teng history go simela jelo tirelo ya winter session re ba kae umana njo gape ke tona motsa tona mare baratiwa Mathothe wa ka ko Serowe North go le ene le tsa karolo ka kwano go le gore le ene le ba member of parliament for opposition o itumeletse thata ceremony ka se jalo ga ile gore e gatela jalo ne kganyone di bua ka yona gantele ya gore puso eno ke yona batho ka batho tsa jalo mikelo tsa batho ba bone ka thwagalo
re bona lo le ne mo tsamaisa ke ra mo eteledipele wa ntlore mohasa ke o na le yalo le tona re Salakai
gongwe ebile dilo tsa gantele ntse re di bua ka tsone recipe thata ke yone kganyo ya gore gongwe re tswelele ka go tlhalosetsa Batswana ka pharologanyo yone re bone jalo go na le mother of the house, father of the house, leader of opposition, chief whip, government whip gona jalo le ntse gongwe e ne wena o ba tlhalosetsang go ba ga jalo pharologanyo gore yo ke o bereka eng le gone tiro ya go ke eng ga re bua jalo dikgang tsa tsamaiso ya parlamente
a ke simololela ka mother of the house gore mother of the house ke ha parlamente le moga ene mo parlamente ele mme yo o nnile mo parlamente sebaka se se le go heta ma parlamente a botlhe mme ene mo mother of the house ke ba motlege re mo tsamaisa dipuisanyo a nang le gore a nywe dikitso mo go bone mo go le yang mo tsamaisong ya parlamente
re ka bua ka se re se bona mo ditshwantshong gone jaana
ke go gore ga ya lo the chief justice re ga o lapele ke tlogetswe ya ka re ne re buile motlege re tsoma tsamaisa dipuisanyo go tla mo amogela mme re the chief justice o tla helegetswa yalo ke the parliamentary council o ileng yene mogakolodi wa tsamelao mo parlamenteng mme Dr. Ame Masuku ya ka ba bona ba tla mmogo yalo mo ditshwantshong
right jaka ha makolong wa go bua gore the chief justice wala seleno ke ba jalo ka justice ga wala pele ke tlogetswe o gorogile mo ga jalo gone gore re bone jalo mo go hitileng ka kgwedi ya hiri kgongethelo ya jalo malatsi a le 12 18th of Jan ile gore tautuna wala seleno o thoma jalo ene re justice ga ke tlogetswe gore ne jalo ene maramela wa mogolo wala seleno ke tsa kere mo sa dire jalo ngwaga gongwe tsatsi la go mpekolene le ra go le gontsi mo kantorong ya gago ya go supa jalo gone gore this legislative meeting of parliament parliament e tsewa jalo ka tholo mo le gore bone jalo melelantha mo ritsong e simolelwa jalo gone ka moleto re ntse re tsweletse jalo re tla go thola jalo gone gore bang bo mang ba bogakala bo kaile gone gore ke bo mang ba le gore ba se ba go ile gone ka mo dikagong tsa parliament mo toropong ya Gaborone
ke gongwe bene santse re le go ke lemogile yalo gore motlhoge re tso Bayford o eleng ene attorney general le ene o sa tswa go goroga
right ele jalo motsata utona to mo la tseleno e bile ele tona wa tsa madi re Ndaba Nkusinathi Gaolathi a ba a lemoga jalo bolenteng ja maparlamente gana ga ba bongwe ke bo parliament wa Moshopa ke ba jalo ka re Karabogare ba pile jalo no parliamente wa Gabane mang wa yes ke Gabane mang yes ga mmogo le mo parliamente gape wa Thamaga ke ba jalo ka re Mataosane ga mmogo le parliamente go Moshudika kwa re Mabusepilo ke dumela jalo gone gore ngwe tana mwa ba imba le gore tebe ke ba tshutsa ka gone go ta go uta gore bone ele ba party ya Botswana Democratic ba ikuta jang ka one moletwa gompieko
go tsa bene nka go bakanyetsa yalo gore motlhoge re tsoma Mabusepilo ke mo parliamente wa Kgatleng Botlhaba ga sa tlhole re di bitsa ka bo Motshudi
yalo
ene ke Kgatleng Botlhaba
yes Kgatleng East right ele ne Mabusepule
ke bona yalo re le re ka pinga kyo re le tona wa justice re Ramaotwana le ba motlhoge re Lucas o mbitsa Omluk o eleng gape monna stilo wa committee ya public accounts committee
right gongwe kana meleto e ntseng jana mare tsepithata gona le mo go itseng gote ke di theme kana gore e centera around ding ikagile ka eng gongwe menne wena o tankana gore ke bona jalo gona le bo symbolism dignity and brevity gore gone mme ga re bua ka one matshego a mararo a sente re be re bua ka ga eng le gone gore moleto o tlhalogangwe gore o supa eng mo pusong ne ke ta e gatalang ke re ke a batho ka batho alright o re mona jalo mo tshwantsong tsa gago jaaka ne se tlhalosa re ba goroga ka bongwe ke tona wa mathuto e tona kana ke re higher education ke ba jalo ka mototegi re Prince Melo le gore lene o sa goroga ka kwano mo di kagong tsa parliament gona mo Gaborone go le gore motshokologo ke yone ya gore bona jalo ele the historic introduction of the opening of the legislative meeting for the official opening ceremony e re bonang jalo e lantha iragala ka ditso mo tshokologong ya gompieko e tsa ke re puso ba tsona ba e botsa mona ka gompieko gore a re ta bona e le gore every meeting in najalo le gore najalo le ceremony ya gona jana
era ya ka go sa tswa go tlhalosa gore this is the inaugural meeting wa pulo ya legislative meeting ya parliament
right
ora gore ya nong ke aka re simoletse ruri ga go le maga gore go nne le yone state of the nation address e latelwang ke budget be go nna ya lo lone pulo semmuso e ya phutego e parliament ya no ya bi tebagantse le tiro ya yona ya go ira molao
right
go tla nna ya lo hela ngwaga le ngwaga go itlhella parliament ya le somele boraro ya bokhutlho ka 2029 right go go re ha re tsena go gone 2029 go ra jalo gone gore tebele jaaka 13th parliament wela itara mo re thopo e be re tsena jalo mo the 14th parliament era e tla re ka kgwedi ya October e tsamaya go gongwe hale motlogi re tsota utona a ntshe yone ditso ba ibitsa RIT yes e tla be ya no ile one e tla be phatlalatsa parliament ya le somele boraro gore a gore ya no batlotlegi ma parlamente ba ikgaratlhelong ya ditlhopho tsa le somele bone tse tla be di aga one parlamente ya ka re bile ya le somele bone right a re bua jalo ka yone kganyo ya symbolism dignity and brevity gore sente ne rank gore ke itse gore ga bua jalo ka yone kganyo ya brevity ene mo tsamaisa dipuisano tsa parliament ga ntse bua jalo ba begedi ga mo dipiking tse di tirena se ba jalo gone gore o batla gore ebe e le bokopano jo bokutshwane bile kono yone e le mo go teng straight to the point ke tsa ke re ina sa bathe go simela a re o di abape gongwe yone kganyo eno ya gore the symbol of it jaaka ne tse tlhalosela go simela gone kana kono ya bongwe gore what does it symbolize for us and also the dignity that we believe the government of this country holds over its citizens.
right so gantse re bile mo tshwantsong tsa go ke tsa kere jaaka no tlhalosa gore one of the government officials ke ba jere ka nere Dick Bayford ka kwano go ta go utlwa re le ene gore ne gongwe ile moitsanape wa molao le ene gore a medio di dirwa sente gone ka ko parlamente ke tsang kere te ipagantse segolo bogolo le go dira tsone di kgantse o sa mela yo mona jalo mo tshwantsong sa gago ke tsang kere Mlene is member of parliament for Khamaleti yes ke ba jelo ka NR Mabeo ka kwano le ene me sente ke gone gore bana jalo go le menyo tota mme le bone ba tshwara gore khote ke ba opposition gongwe le bone ka gore ke bone jalo ba supa jalo gore ne mo le tono ba bo amogela ka gore lo no ntse supa jalo gore gatetse pele ha re ba dikgang tse ileng gore di ama jalo yone puso ye ya batho ka batho ya ke tsa kere ra mona gape mo parlamente wa Maun West re dumelang salashano ebile le moeteledipele wa di-party tsa kganetso gone mo parlamente ya kwano gore le ene mo ka kwano just to embrace this ceremony and also give it his blessings.
Motsotlhogi Maetsho motsamaisi wa dipuisano tsa palamente mo setshwantsho se sa tswa go heta ne le a ka tla ba boela ko ofising ya gago ga o ipaakanyetsa jalo gore a tla a simolodise phuthego ya palamente mme o siile jalo motlhogi Raetsho motsamaisi wa dipuisano rre Dithapelo ko Rapetse a na le motlhogi Raetsho leader of the opposition re dumelang Salishando gore ke bone ba batla amogelang motlhogi Raetsho Tautona ba na le ano ene the clerk of the National Assembly o ileng the administrative head ya palamente ke lemoga yalo mo ditshwantsong gape go na yalo le re Sam Digwa o ileng the government whip a na le re Caterpillar Hikwama enabling the opposition whip
ke rata mako a o thata recipe thata bone bo opposition whip government whip gore what is it that they do on daily basis?
Gongwe bile ke tla tse gore ha re ka adima mahoko a tla dirisweng ke baagisanya ma Afrika Borwa ba ba bitsa bo semesegolo ya semesegolo sa puso re Hikwama tiro ene le tota re Digwa le ene re Hikwama tiro ya bone e tona ke one ya go thusa motsamaisa dipuisano gore a laole maloko ba di-party tsa bone ka go harologana le gone go ba thusa ka dikgakololo tsa ditsamaiso tsa palamente go tle go nne le nako e ga gongwe mo re go bitsang quorum yo le yone selekanyetso sa mapalamente a tshwanetse gore a ba le mo parlamenteng ka nako tsotlhe ga palamente e tsene ke yone tiro ya kgolo ya ga Rre Digwa le Rre Hikwama go tlhomamisa gore ka nako tsotlhe yone selekanyetso sa mapalamente a tshwanetse go nna mo parlamenteng ba be ba le mo parlamente ka nako tsotlhe ba thusa mo tsamaisa dipuisano
ke one re motsamaisa dipuisano tsa parlamente o ka konte gone ka kwano go ta go amogela jalo boeng ba le gore ba ha ka taletso ya yone ofisi ya gago ngore bole jalo gore mantswe yona batho ba re setswang go a bua ke ba jalo ka ene government whip ga mo le opposition whip gore mantswe a bone a rediwa go le kana ka mantswe a bone a rae mo pusong ene le gore a gatella mo soleng peko ya batho ka batho
o tla lemoga gore government and opposition whip le mo ditsamaisong tsa rona tsa parlamente kgotsa standing orders ke maemo hela a go godimo a mo parlamente yaanong a hiwa lentswe la bone le hiwa kare le segelwa tsebe hela ya ka go ka segelwa la ga motlhogi Raetsho motsamaisa dipuisano
right re tsole jalo re kgabosa jalo mo ditshwantsong tsa gago ke setsa go bona jalo tona wa banana mme le sego tshombo ke tsang ke le eno ka kaona bile mathothe tota mataba le bile jalo matshwenyego a ke tsang ke re batswana ba batana jalo le banana ba batana jalo le melao e le gore ka ba sireletsa kgathanong le mathata a le gore a bone jalo ba aparela segolo bolo go ba jalo ka yona kganyeno ya di kito sa malapeng ke domestic violence ga mo go le yone gender based violence gongwe jaaka ke tlhaloso gore ke ngwalo tsele gore batswana to ka bontse ba emetse go utlwa gore melao e tannang teng mo parlamenteng e latelang ya go tsamaya ka tsela e ntseng jang
ra ke dumela gore motlhogi Raetsho motsamaisa moeteledipele wa ntlo kgotsa leader of the house Rre Mohwasa gongwe e tla nna mengwe ya melao kakanyetso ya tla e ba parlamente pele ka gore gone ga iske ke dumela gore ya ka parlamente e tsena gongwe e tla nna mengwe ya melao ya tla e ba parlamente pele ha motlhogi Raetsho motsamaisa dipuisano a sena go simolosa ntlo semmuso mme gone le ma parlamente ka bongwe ba na le gone tshwanelo e ya gore ba katisa yone melao kakanyetso yo tla be e nonotsha melao e puso e tla be e setse ntse itsitse e beile palamente pele kgotsa private members bill ke tlhalose le gore le one ma palamente ka go harologana ga bone ba na le one tshwanelo eo ya gore ba ka tsisa one melao kakanyetso e ka baakanya melao e setseng tse e le teng
gongwe re botse jalo monkgonne gore go motho go le kana kang gore re bone molao o hitiswa go nna jalo molao o e le gore actually pass the bill go tsana go e kae le gone gore ha palamente e dumetse gore nyame o molao ke o ra o bona re dumana le one ra utlwa e kana jalo molao le gore o effecta jalo mo lehaselothe. How long does it take and what is the process like?
Process ya molao e simolola hela ka consultation mo palamente wa consulta go tseng ho megopolo ya gago wa e kopanya a ba ka kopana le ba ofisi ya rona ya base ya bogakolo jwa semolao ke bone ba jaanong megopolo e ba go e bopa e nna molao kakanyetso o molao wa teng o tla publishwang mo government gazette for 30 days e be yaanong a ka tla o begela motloge raetsho speakera gore o na tota mo tsamaisa dipuisano gore o na le maikelo a go tsisa one molao kakanyetso eo e ka nna molao e le molao o mošwa wa sengwe se se keng se iragale kgotsa paakanyo ya melao e setseng re ntse re na le yone
right go mo tshwantsong tsa go tseo ke tsa kere o bona jalo botsala jo re bo bonang jo ja ditlotlo ke ba jalo ka tona wa lephata la botsogo Dr. Stephen Modise ga mmogo le tona wa temothuo Dr. Edwin Dikoloto ke tsang kere ke tona gape wa Good Hope Matete constituency right mo tshwantsong tsa go jo ke former minister of health ke bua jalo ka Dr. Sila Dwelo ke tsa kere le ene o buile thata sa kgwe mathe gore molotono wa o amogela ka baka la gone gore mo supa jalo gone gore la sela botswa le gatetse pele ka go amogela jalo ditiro tse le gore di bona di dira jalo ke parlamente ya botswana ke tsang kere o thera itse gore it is the highest legislative body of this country
ra ke le mogile gape yalo o bapile le re thulaganyo segokgo o ne ile mo parlamente wa pele wa Tlokweng ile minister gape wa transport and communications mo parlamenteng ya lesome le bobedi
right kgakalanyana ka kwa ke bona jalo tona wa local government gape e le tona wa ka ko Mamadinare ke bua jalo ka re yes ke thalefile motshego ke tsang ke re na le papile jalo le tona wa trade re Tirone Ntsima ebile e le jaaka e le gore ra bona le bona ba ka kwano to grace this official opening ceremony of the 13th parliament ile the second yes kana ya kana ke ba gore kana te re kopana jalo dithemengana tse di mo ka bana mme ke tsa ke re the third meeting of the second session of the 13th parliament
e ra ke le moga yalo le re Shimamolageng yalo o na le mongwe wa badiredi ba parlamente ka ko morago ga gagwe ke lemogile yalo Brigadier General Mokgwathi o dumedisa bahumagadi ba
ba ka kwano gongwe ebile re bua jalo ka re Shimamolageng ke dumela jalo gone gore ene o tshwatse go dikgaolong tsa a ke tswa ke molepole kana ke kweneng go logale mme ke tsa kere ke molepole re bone jalo a tsena jalo mo pusong gona ka dithopo tse se tswang go heta tseo go ra jalo gone gore le ene ka kwano
a re rapeleng. Modimo mothata yothe wena o leng esi moabi wa bothale le kitso, rona bathanka ba gago ba re kopaneng hano ka ntlha ya leina la gago, re neele gompieno bothale ja gago ja se le godimo go re kaela mo ditherisanong tsotlhe tsa rona, o bo re neele gape poiho ya leina la gago le go kgaphela kwa thoko dikgathego tsotlhe tsa rona gore merero le dikgakololo tsa rona di ise kgalalelong ya leina la gago, tshiamo, kagiso le thitibalo mo hatsheng leno la rona go isa popaganong ya setšhaba sa rona ka ntlha ya leina la ga Jesu Kriste morena le mmoloki wa rona. Amen.
Be seated. Order, honorable members. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, guests. Good afternoon, public. Welcome to the inaugural official opening of the legislative meeting of Parliament, the first of its kind. Allow me at this juncture, honourable members, to recognize the presence of the following. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Botswana, Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, Your Honor, Vice President of Republic of Botswana, Mr. Ndabankosi Nathi Gaolathe, the Chief Justice, His Lordship, Gaolapelwe Ketlogetswe, Mrs. Katlego Namane Kiorapetse, our Queen, Mr. Alan Manyeneng, my oxygen. A special welcome to you all, our invited guests and general public watching from Parliament grounds and through all media platforms. Honourable members, I'm pleased to inform you that the Speaker of the National Assembly will be here later to address this afternoon, this assembly at 14:40, 20 minutes to 3. And honourable members, you are therefore invited for the Know Your Legislature procession later outside the chamber. And you should note the following. This is the order in which we'll be leaving the chamber. First will be His Excellency the President, His Honor the Vice President, followed by honorable members of Parliament. Also, the following will join the President of the Republic of Botswana at the Speaker's boardroom for procession. Leader of the House, Leader of Opposition, Mother of the House, Father of the House, and invited guests. You are requested to remain seated in the chamber. Honourable members, our proceedings today will be suspended for now until we come back. We may leave the chamber as I announced, the President first, as I announced.
ba o ipakanyetsa yalo gore ba tle ba helegetse Motlego Raetso motsamaisa dipuisanyo ya ka tla ba tsena go tla go buisana le setšhaba ya ka ke sa tswa go bua le one mapalamente a ba begela yone pegelo ya gagwe eo e re dumelang gore e tla ama diphitlhelelo tsotlhe tsa palamente ya bo 13 ya ka ga e sa le simologa gongwe o tla ama le dikgwetlho tsone tseo tsa ba kopaneng le tsone kgotsa le maitlamo le maikelo a bone gore tsone dikgwetlho tseo ba ikalela go di rarabolola yang go ya ko pele.
Right e le se se tswang go diragala jalo mo dikageng tsone tsa palamente re bona jalo tautona a setswa go tsena mme se bona jalo ba
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Dumela mbagaetso. A very warm welcome to this historic inaugural official opening of the legislative meeting of Parliament. Today marks a momentous occasion as we gather to outline the legislative agenda and set the foundation for this winter meeting. Bagaetso, as has been mentioned, we will have Know Your Members of the Legislature procession, which will be led by Mr. President and His Honor the Vice President. So all the members of Parliament will enter the chamber in a procession. This procession is done to pay tribute and respect to the legislators and for Botswana to appreciate their elected representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, when the official procession of members of Parliament enters the chamber, please let's welcome each member with 3 claps only before stopping. This is to allow the procession to continue smoothly and on time. And to ensure uniformity, we will rehearse the 3 clap applause at my countdown of 3, 2, 1. So when I count down 3, 2, 1, please 3 claps. 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. So let us now welcome the President of the Republic of Botswana, Advocate Duma Gideon Boko. Let us also welcome the Vice President, Honorable Nkosinathi Ndaba-Gaolathe, who is also the Minister of Finance and Member of Parliament for Gaborone Boninthin South. The Vice President. Let us now welcome the Leader of the House, Honorable Moeti Caesar Mohasa, who also serves as the Minister of State for President, Defense and Security. Let us now welcome the Leader of the Opposition and Member of Parliament for Mau North, Honorable Dumelan Salishando. Let us welcome the Mother of the House, who is also the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Foreign Affairs, Defense, Justice, Security, and also Member of Parliament for Katling West, Honorable Dr. Unity Dow. Next, making the entrance is the Father of the House and Minister of Environment and Tourism, Honorable Winter Boipuso Muluti, and Member of Parliament for Francistown South. Next, we welcome the Opposition Party Whip and Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Education and Skills Development, Honorable Katapila Kanengura Hikuwama, Member of Parliament for Maung West. We now welcome the Government Whip and Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Local Governance and Social Welfare, Honorable Sam Obonyidihwa, Member of Parliament for Boteti West. We now welcome Leader of Minority Opposition Party, Botswana Patriotic Front, Honorable Lepetso Lesedi, who is also the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Standing Orders and Reforms, as well as Member of Parliament for Seroe South. Let us welcome Honorable Mabuse Mopati Pule, who is the Leader of the Minority Opposition Party, Botswana Democratic Party, and Member of Parliament for Katling East. We now usher in Honorable Palelo Kitso Pemotaosani, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Members' Rights, Interests and Privileges, and Member of Parliament for Thamagaku Makwani. We now welcome Honorable Khabatsuli Disho, the Chair Portfolio Committee on Wildlife, Tourism, Natural Resources and Climate Change, and Member of Parliament for Okavango East. Following him is Honorable Tsenolo Bokhatu, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Agriculture, Lands and Housing, and Member of Parliament for Lenzwele Taule Pepe. Let us now usher in Honorable Kgalena Wabo Lekau, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Finance, Trade and Economic Development, and Member of Parliament for Mogoditsani West. And now making the entrance is Honorable Motalema Mwalusi, Member of Parliament for Nkange and the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Communications, Works, Transport and Technology. We now welcome Honorable Goretetsa Kgonegile, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Labor and Home Affairs and Member of Parliament for Maung East. Following him is Honorable Philemon Aaron, the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Health and HIV/AIDS and Member of Parliament for Ngami. Let us welcome Honorable Penyo Mokete Segoko, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Governance and Oversight and Member of Parliament for Tukweng. Making entrance now is Honorable Jeremiah Jerry Frenzel, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Youth, Sport, Arts and Culture, and Member of Parliament for Shashe West. Let us usher in Honorable Prince Moketsi Mosanana, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Public Service and its Management and Member of Parliament for Kanye East. Following him is Honorable Taolo Buipuso Lucas, Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee and Member of Parliament for Bubirwa. We now welcome Honorable Victor Billy Pologolo, the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Finance and Estimates and Member of Parliament for Kanye West. Next, making entrance in the chamber is Honorable Arafat Kitso Khan, Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Statutory Bodies and State Enterprises and Member of Parliament for Molepolle North. Let us welcome Honorable Kenny Kapinga, Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Subsidiary Legislation and Member of Parliament for Okavango West. We now welcome Honorable Kuwagile Atamelang, Member of Parliament for Boteti East. Let us now usher in Honorable Munedi Bagaisamang, Member of Parliament for Shoshung. Next, so let us welcome Honorable Letogonolo Barungwang, Member of Parliament for Mogoditsani East. Making entrance to the chamber now is Honorable Lesego Chombo, specially elected Member of Parliament. Making entrance now is Honorable Kamaldeen Kamal Jacobs, Member of Parliament for Lubatse. Let us usher in Honorable Jacob Kilibeng, Member of Parliament for Takatokwani. We now welcome Honorable Nono Kafela Mukoka, who is specially elected Member of Parliament. We now welcome Honorable Umpimetse Kwapa, Member of Parliament for joining Mabutsani. Following him now is Honorable Rizin Moraidi Likutlani, Member of Parliament for Kalagadi North. Next, we welcome Honorable Prince Moketsi Maele, Member of Parliament for Tswapo North. We now welcome Honorable Dr. Stephen Mudise, who is a specially elected Member of Parliament. Let us usher in Honorable Joseph Tokyo Mudise, Member of Parliament for Kalahari South. Making entrance now is Honorable Major General Pius Mokware, who is specially elected Member of Parliament. We now welcome Honorable Brigadier Domkaza Mokwati, Member of Parliament for Letlhakeng. Following him now is Honorable Shima Den Monageng, Member of Parliament for Molepolle South. Making entrance now is Honorable Mpomorolong, Member of Parliament for Katling Central. Making entrance now is Honorable Onets Ramohapi, Member of Parliament for Palape. We now welcome Honorable Mukwaledi Ignatius Muswani, Member of Parliament for Francistown West. Following him now is Honorable Motsamai, Member of Parliament for Charles Hill. Let us now welcome Honorable Ketalifile Motsewa, Member of Parliament for Madinari. And we now usher Honorable Tiroyone Nzima, Member of Parliament for Francistown East. We now welcome Honorable Sean Ntaile, Member of Parliament for Gaborone North. Now making entrance is Honorable Augustine Nyatanga, Member of Parliament for Mahalape East. Let us usher in Honorable Nelson Ramaotwana, Member of Parliament for Gaborone South. Following him now is Honorable Haifelis Dombo, Member of Parliament for Tonota. We now welcome Honorable Noah Salakai, Member of Parliament for Khanti. Making entrance now is Honorable David Tsire, Member of Parliament for Mahalape West. Let us usher in Honorable Dr. Edwin Khoratao Nedikoloti, Member of Parliament for Good Hope Matete. Following him now is Honorable Baratiwa Matote, Member of Parliament for Serowe North. We now welcome Honorable Tabolo Furniture, Member of Parliament for Tati East. Making entrance now is Honorable Boniface Bashimabeo, Member of Parliament for Gamaliti. Let us now welcome Honorable Kobera Ronkawana, Member of Parliament for Silibi Pico East. Making entrance now is Honorable Onalepilu Kidikilwe, Member of Parliament for Serue West. Let us usher in Honorable Karabo Sokrat Khare, Member of Parliament for Moshupa Manyana. Following him now is Honorable Kariso Thomas Musi, Member of Parliament for Rabane Mankhodi. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the members of Parliament for the 13th Parliament. We shall now wait for the procession, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we now usher in the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Helen Pushimanyineng, also the Chairperson of the Parliamentary Caucus on Women and Member of Parliament for Mopani, Metsi Motabe, and also the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Ditapelo Lefoko Kiwarapeti.
Honourable members, once again, good afternoon. I now call upon the Right Honourable Speaker of the National Assembly of Botswana to address this House and deliver your speech. Excuse me, it's supposed to be national anthem, sorry. Order, honourable members. I now call upon the Honourable Speaker of the National Assembly to address this House with his speech. Mr. Speaker, note that you have an hour to deliver your speech. Thank you.
Mr. President, Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, Your Honor, the Vice President, Ndaba Nkosinati Khawlat, His Lordship, the Chief Justice Kgaolapelo G. Kutlogetsi, Honorable Justices of Appeal and Judges of the Industrial Court and the High Court, Their Excellencies, former Presidents of the Republic of Botswana, Akitsora Batengha, Dr. Sarzakama Ian Kama, Dr. Mokwetsi Erika Betsumasisi, former Vice President, Honorable Slam Batsohane, Honorable Ministers, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Helen Pushimanyineng, Assistant Ministers, Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Dumelan Saleshando, and your spouse, I believe she's here. Honourable members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, in a special way, let me recognize the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, His Excellency Mukono Eshiro, Chairman of Ntwari Khosi, Mongame Khosi Malope wa bobedi, members of Ntwari Khosi, Bembame, Permanent Secretary to the President, Ms. Matshidiso Bokole, the Attorney General of the Republic of Botswana, Mr. Dick Bayford, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Kositi Lengakahai, Judge President of the Industrial Court, Mr. Molomu, the Ombudsman, Advocate Turia Kosi, President of the Court of Appeal, Mete Bohotau, Service Chiefs, Mayor of the City of Gaborone, Honorable Warabile Sinyolo Nyolo Mutale, Clerk of the National Assembly, Dr. Gabriel Hoiti Modimosiame Malebang, former speakers of the National Assembly, the Right Honorable Dr. Margaret Nananya Nanasha, Honorable Pandu Tombola Chahas Kelemane SC and your wife, Parliament partners and sponsors, accounting officers and senior government officials, Deputy Clerk Mehelen Kitsajwam, Parliamentary Council, Dr. Ami Rebecca Masuku, distinguished guests, members of the Fourth Estate, fellow citizens of Botswana, ladies and gentlemen, Dumilani, Dumela Mbareetsu, Tobela, Harumere, Murumere, Hurumelwe, Khayo, Masekati Akanaka. Good afternoon. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow, according to Melody Beatty. Let me begin by expressing my gratitude to God Almighty for this wonderful day and thank Him for the wonderful gift of life, for His unfailing love, and for His grace and mercy. I recognize the masses of our people of this great republic and extend my warm gratitude to them for their fortitude, hope, and courage, and their patriotic spirit. Let me thank President Advocate Duma Gideon Boko for his stewardship, forthright leadership, and commitment to serve our country with distinction, honor, dignity, and respect. We thank his second in command, the man who sits at the helm of our Economic High Command, His Honor Ndaba Nkosinati Haulad, for devoting every effort of body, mind, and spirit to turning around our economy into a prosperous one that works for all and that honors the dignity of work. We thank you. Thank you to my wife, Katlego, who has always understood and shared my conviction. Remarkably, she continues to support and love me. For that, I'm eternally grateful. Thank you. Thank you, honorable members, for your continued support and the work that you do for this country. Let me also thank our staff under the leadership of the clerk. Let me thank them most profusely for their wonderful service to our nation. I thank you, all of you, who are here, for being here this afternoon. Mr. President, honorable members of Parliament, distinguished guests, and fellow citizens watching from across the nation, it is with profound sense of responsibility and a deep sense of respect for the sanctity of this chamber that I welcome you to the inaugural official opening of the third meeting of the second session of the 13th Parliament. I acknowledge all of you here, and in the words of, thank you, Your Excellency. His Excellency. Thank you, Mr. President. I acknowledge all of you here, and in the words of former leader of opposition, now President Advocate Boko, I encourage honorable members from across party lines to embrace each other without paying any regard to the temporary barriers of party lines, or indeed the temporizing agonies of your separation from each other. I look forward to that point in your journey when you will all reunite and refuse to remain imprisoned in any entrenched divisions. We begin, as this House has always begun, with humility before Providence and in solemn memory. In recent months, as you may all be aware, we have lost some of our own. Re Festus Khontebanye Mogae, whose steady hand guided this nation through years of consolidation. Me Gladys Kokore Mastombi, who once sat in the chair that I now occupy and whose grace defined the dignity of this office. And Reverend Dr. John Siakhosi, whose service to this country was quiet but unwavering. We pay homage and tribute to Ernest Sipho Mpofu, former clerk of the National Assembly. Through them, we remember the wider company of those who built this house from nothing, Seretse Khama, who anchored our democracy in consultation rather than command. PG Matante, who taught this parliament that opposition is not betrayal, but duty. Seki Tumile Masire, who proved that prudence and progress need not be opposites. Khosi Batoyeng Rasitiwi, who carried tradition into modern governance without letting either diminish the other. Dr. Kenneth Shololo Khwaba Munkoma, whose intellect disturbed complacency whenever he found it. Hausi Tuchiepe, Same Makhoa Batobakai, Kebatshabile Disele, Maichorol Dabuta and Paul Rantau, among others, whose long service in this house is testimony that serving one's country is a virtue. All our members, we do not inherit their standing. We earn it only by matching, in our own time, the seriousness with which they treated this house. We remain firmly committed to building a parliament that is strong, effective, and truly accountable to Botswana. As Winston Churchill eloquently stated, Parliament is the workshop of democracy, and that workshop must remain open, vibrant, and responsive to the people's needs. This institution serves as the heartbeat of our democracy, and its strength directly reflects the vitality of our nation. I've encouraged all political parties represented in this 13th Parliament to walk confidently and courageously through the open door into this chamber and present their well-thought-out proposals and ideas with an open mind, have their political, economic, social, and other ideas critically tested for their utility, their realism, their adaptability, and the extent to which they are workably applicable in our context. I congratulate the new government for anchoring their governance on human rights, for protecting free speech, and for recognizing the right of citizens to associate, assemble, protest, and petition, including the right to picket. I also congratulate the opposition for holding the government to account. I thank the media for their wonderful work of asking third-degree questions and adhering to responsible journalism. I urge citizens to continue to hold government accountable and all their elected representatives without fear or intimidation. On the Botswana World Athletics Relays, it was a magnificent job well done by the Athletics Association, particularly the LOC, led by Re Bantsi and Professor Mukwati. The BNSC and Ministry of Sports and Arts, congratulations to the Ministry of Minerals for putting together a fantastic sponsorship program for World Athletics Relays. Congratulations to the Team Botswana. Thank you. Congratulations to Team Botswana, led by Litsile and Kibina Tsipi, amongst others, for a great job well done. They continue to shine at the Diamond League. Congratulations to the boys and their coaches and Botswana for collective support. Infrastructure development grew, tourism grew, and our diamonds received huge mileage. This was indeed the true spirit of Ipelege. Dear colleagues and friends, the change that took place in October 2024 was unprecedented in the sense that it evoked high expectations. These expectations must be borne and executed by the leadership chosen by the people. This change should be felt, fundamental in form and shape, drastic in its nature, and impactful in its execution. This change must first be felt by those that caused it. The role of leadership is to make change tangible, drastic, and meaningful to the lives of ordinary people, the people that made it happen. The people who subsist at the margins, workers, students, teachers, soldiers, police, mine workers, the marginalized, differently abled people, women, young people, factory workers, small business people, all-age people, and street hawkers must feel this change. The arms of government, the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive must espouse and encapsulate that change by configuration and design, by form and shape. These arms must demonstrate that there is change. They must represent the aspirations and wishes of our people. This earth-shattering change wasn't apologetic. It was drastic and devastating. This change can't be cosmetic. It was a historic change that required a complete overhaul of the system to ensure that the change captures the desire by those that brought it about. If you do not change, the confidence in leadership will suffer. Make changes that will make the country and the people's aspirations. Do not apologize for making changes. In driving this change, let's desist from hedging and prevarication. Let's not be dazzled by the uncomfortable truth's bright headlights. Let's avoid euphemisms and pussyfooting. Let's discourage, let's avoid euphemisms and pussyfooting. Let's discourage isomorphic mimicry, where there is temptation to create an illusion of reform to satisfy external observers. An illusion that we are busy doing something when we are busy making sure nothing is done. As the 13th Parliament, let's take heed of Chinua Achebe's call that every generation must recognize and embrace the task it is peculiarly designed by history and by providence to perform. Let's be a generation that democratizes its parliament, that sets profound yardsticks for accountability and transparency, and that truly and adequately represents its voters. Let us recognize that, as Wole Soyinka said, the greatest threat to freedom is the absence of criticism. And let's have that one abiding religion, human liberty. All our members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today in a ceremony Botswana has never held before. Twice each year, this chamber fills for occasions that belong properly to the executive. The State of the Nation address, in which the President says the government's program, and the budget speech, in which the Vice President and Minister of Finance account for the nation's finances. Both matter greatly. Neither, however, is Parliament's own occasion. Until today, Parliament has no equivalent moment for its own core function, the making of law. No day on which the Speaker, Leader of the House, the Leader of Opposition, the whips, and the members who will spend the coming months undertaking their core lawmaking duties stand together and say to the nation, in effect, this is what we intend to do with the authority you gave us, and we intend to be watched while we do it. This ceremony requires no amendment of our standing orders, only the will to establish it, with the Leader of the House and Leader of the Opposition, together with the Office of the Clerk, have shown by making today possible. Mr. President, you have on more than one occasion called on Parliament to be more preoccupied with its core mandate of lawmaking. Let today be this House answer. Not a speech about lawmaking, but an institution that opens its legislative meeting the way it opens every other kind of meeting, in public, on the record, before the nation it serves. This is the third meeting of the second session of the 13th Parliament of the Republic of Botswana. In the parlance of the Commonwealth parliamentary tradition, this designation carries profound symbolism. The session of Parliament is the constitutional period during which the legislature meets to discharge its duties, beginning with the state opening and ending with prorogation or dissolution. Each session represents a fresh mandate to legislate, oversee the executive, and give voice to the aspiration of our people. The second session, therefore, represents a continuation of the legislative agenda first set in motion, a reaffirmation of the mandate bestowed upon us by the electorate, and an opportunity to deepen our legislative footprint. The third meeting within this session signifies the third formal parliamentary sitting convened to advance our legislative agenda. In the Commonwealth parliamentary procedure, each meeting is a building block, a structured opportunity to deliberate, debate, and decide upon matters of national importance. This meeting is not merely an administrative convening. It is a living expression of the consensual understanding between the government and the governed, the sacred covenant that defines our Republican democracy. As the CPA reminds us, the strength of a democracy lies not in the grandeur of its buildings, but in the robustness of its parliamentary procedures and the integrity of its elected representatives. This inaugural official opening of the Parliament's legislative business represents a deliberate institutional statement that the legislature ought not to be an appendage of the executive, but a co-equal branch of government, operationally independent and constitutionally empowered. In this, we draw inspiration from the wisdom of Professor Larry Diamond, who observes that democracy requires more than elections. It requires the institutionalization of checks and balances, the protection of minority rights, and the cultivation of a culture of accountability. Today, we are not merely opening a meeting, we are opening a new chapter in Botswana's journey of democratic consolidation. As the French philosopher Baron de Montesquieu aptly observed, when the legislative and executive powers are united in the same person or body of magistrates, there can be no liberty. This profound insight underscores our duty as parliamentarians to uphold and preserve the deliberate balance enshrined in our Constitution. It is the balance that ensures that our democracy remains vibrant, our freedoms protected, and our institutions resilient against concentration of power that could jeopardize the liberties of our people. In my previous statement, marking my 1 year as Speaker, I emphasized our commitment to fostering a robust legislative environment. Honourable members, as part of our continued efforts to embrace the legislative process and deepen parliamentary democracy, the practice has since been that all statutory instruments drafts be scrutinized by the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation before they are tabled in Parliament. Furthermore, all bills, policies, and papers shall be thoroughly examined by the relevant parliamentary committees prior to their presentation to the House. This will not only improve the quality of our laws, but also reinforce our oversight function. Moreover, we seek to strengthen public participation in the lawmaking process by allowing members of the public to engage in committee hearings dealing with bills and policies. This participatory approach will enrich debate, promote transparency, and ensure that laws and policies are the outcome of a plurality of voices. Honourable members, to understand where we are, we must also understand where we come from. Parliament of Botswana was born at independence in 1966, inheriting a constitutional framework shaped by the wisdom of the Marlborough House negotiations and the foresight of our founding fathers. From the very first parliament in 1966 to the 13th parliament today, we have maintained an unbroken chain of representative governance that places us amongst the most consistently democratic nations in the world. That unbroken continuity is our pride. It is also our responsibility to preserve it. Expectation of this House, the 13th Parliament, have never been higher, and they should not be lowered to make us comfortable. A parliament born of a historic democratic moment owes that moment more than gratitude. It owes it distinguished service. In the words of the great African statesman Julius Kambarage Nyerere, democracy is not a destination but a journey. As I said before, it's a continuum, work in progress ad infinitum. Botswana's journey has been remarkable. At independence in 1966, we were a nation of humble means, yet our forefathers and our foremothers planted democratic roots that will grow into one of the most enduring and stable democratic systems on the African continent. Honourable members, the 2024 general elections were not merely an electoral contest. They were a stress test for Botswana's democratic institutions and a reaffirmation of the democratic temperament of Botswana. For the first time in nearly 6 decades of independence, the electorate delivered a change of government at the ballot box, not through a single seismic event, but through the patient accumulated effort of citizens exercising their franchise in villages, towns, and cities across the country. The implications of this outcome are profound. They demonstrate that Botswana's democracy is not only durable but dynamic. They prove that the people, in their collective wisdom, can and will hold governments to account. They confirm that what the IPU, Interparliamentary Union, has consistently observed, that democratic consolidation is not about absence of alternation in power, but about the capacity of institutions to manage alternation peacefully, constitutionally, and without disruption to national stability. The IPU, in its global reports on parliamentary democracy, identifies the peaceful transfer of power as a core indicator of democratic maturity. By this measure, the 2024 elections place Botswana firmly among the upper echelons of African democracies. The IPU's 2023 Global Parliamentary Report highlighted that parliaments in young democracies are most tested when power changes hands. Our parliament, I would argue, has passed this test. We did not merely witness a change of government. We managed it with the dignity, the order, and the constitutional fidelity that befits a mature democracy. Botswana's vibrant democracy indeed has truly passed the Huntington test, a testament to our maturity as a democracy. Following this historic political transition in October 2024, Parliament is the primary venue for peaceful debate and national cohesion. This is because constructive cross-party engagement reinforces stability and public trust. Matters of national interest, which could potentially escalate and find expression in overt and at times violent conflict, are openly debated and ventilated peacefully and constructively. Ultimately, from that contestation of ideas, the best quality policies and ideas prevail and serve the best interest of the nation. This parliament is therefore uniquely placed to become a transformational parliament. Honourable members, if we are to understand the vision as a word picture of the future that is pleasing, what then is Parliament's vision, Speaker's vision? It is not a personal ambition, but an institutional aspiration. It is the vision of a parliament that is independent, inclusive, and citizen-centered. The vision of the National Assembly is clear: to build an open parliament that is accessible, responsive, participatory, and citizen-centered. At the heart of this vision lies a profound belief that a stronger democracy is achieved when citizens are not merely observers of governance, but active participants in shaping it. We aspire to transform the Parliament of Botswana into a high-performing institution. In an endeavor to reform Parliament, we strive to strengthen the institutional capacity of Parliament. Learning and striving for excellence should be a lifelong objective. The current leadership aims to reform and transform Parliament to meet the changing demands of society and the world. Within 20 months, the 13th Parliament has managed to realign its leadership philosophy and has shifted its focus from administration to strategic delivery with the aim of improving transparency, accountability, agility, and stakeholder confidence. The request for a democratic independent parliament is not an abstract ideal. It is a constitutional necessity. A parliament that is financially dependent on the executive cannot independently scrutinize the executive. A parliament that lacks its own legislative drafting capacity cannot independently make laws. A parliament that is deprived of its own parliamentary budget office cannot independently scrutinize the budget. Independence is therefore not a privilege to be granted. It is a capacity to be built. Former President Kitumile Masire, Botswana's second president and paragon of democratic stewardship, once said, "A nation that does not invest in its institutions is a nation that mortgages its future." We honor his legacy not by erecting statues, but by strengthening the oversight mechanisms that he championed. We honor him by ensuring that every pula entrusted to government is accounted for, that every project delivers value, and that every tender is awarded fairly and transparently. The Setswana proverb, "Tshwaragano ke matla," unity is strength, reminds us that our strength as a nation lies in our togetherness. But unity is not passive. It is the active engagement of all segments of society in the project of nation building. Inclusive democracy means that minority voices are heard, that women's representation is not tokenistic, but substantive, that youth participation is not symbolic, but strategic, and that persons differently abled are not afterthoughts, but integral partners in our national development. Now, towards a democratic parliament. During the 18th century age of enlightenment, the traditional authority of the church was undermined by groundbreaking scientific discoveries, and the idea of monarchs ruling by divine right was called into question. In Europe, particularly France, many political philosophers began to investigate the power of the monarchy, clergy, and aristocracy. Foremost among these were Voltaire, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and Montesquieu. Rousseau argued for power to be shifted from the monarch to the people, and Voltaire contended for a separation of church and state. Montesquieu was more concerned about the existence of a constitution that will protect against despotism. This was achievable, in his view, by a separation of powers of government. He argued that despotism was the single greatest threat to the liberty of citizens. As our president always reminds us, President Advocate Duma Gideon Bok, that the worst perpetrator of human rights violations is the state itself, and that citizens must be protected from the government through not just laws, but creation of key institutions such as the constitutional courts, or words to that effect. At the heart of Montesquieu's argument was the division of a state into three distinct categories: the executive, responsible for the administration and enforcement of laws; the legislature, responsible for passing, repealing, and amending laws; and the judiciary, responsible for interpreting and applying the laws. This distinction between the three different arms of government, known as the Tres Politica, wasn't new, as ancient Greeks and Romans had recognized this need. Montesquieu's influential ideas became a model and foundation of many constitutions around the world, and the tripartite system is enshrined in most democratic constitutions, including that of Botswana. These ideals serve as a basis for democratization of our country and should still inform our comprehensive constitutional review and institutional reform process. Like you, Mr. President, we are dreamers. I'm a dreamer. I dream a spectacularly different parliament, a modern 21st century parliament that is independent, well-resourced, and capable of providing effective oversight, legislate for democracy and good economy, that enacts laws from an empirically informed position and represents Botswana adequately. At its core, Democracy is the system of government in which supreme power is vested in the people and exercised by them directly or indirectly through a system of representation, as you are here representing the people, typically involving periodically held free, fair, credible, and transparent elections. But as the political theorist Robert Dahl reminds us, democracy is not merely about elections. It is about the capacity of citizens to hold their leaders accountable, the protection of fundamental rights, the rule of law, and the institutional architecture that makes accountability possible. Parliament, in its architecture, is the heart of democratic governance. It is the institution entrusted with making laws, scrutinizing government actions, representing the voices of citizens, and safeguarding constitutional governance. Section 57 of our Constitution establishes Parliament, and Section 86 grants you, or our members, the power to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of Botswana. In other words, you are not allowed, as the President has said before, you are not allowed to make bad laws. This is not a delegated power. It is sovereign power entrusted on you, the representatives of the people. A democratic parliament is more than a legislative factory. The IPU and the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association have established what we may call the gold standards for democratic parliaments. These include representative composition reflecting the diversity of society, institutional independence from the executive, effective oversight of government, transparency in operation, accessibility to citizens, and the capacity to draft legislation rather than merely ratify executive proposals. The CPA's benchmarks for parliamentary performance assess parliaments against these criteria, and the IPU's parliamentary cycle framework evaluates how well parliaments represent, legislate, and oversee throughout their mandate. Trends on democratic parliaments in Africa, as observed by the IPU, reveal both progress and challenges. For instance, their 2023 analysis noted that African parliaments have made significant strides in legislative independence and committee strengthening, but remain constrained by executive dominance, limited budgetary autonomy, and inadequate research capacity. And the IPU's tools for parliament oversight guidelines emphasize that parliaments must have their own analytical capacity, their own budgetary independence, and their own mechanisms for public engagement if they are to function as genuine democratic institutions rather than rubber stamps for executive will. Botswana's parliament has historically ranked well on democratic indices, but we must not rest on our laurels. As Larry Diamonds warns, democracy is not self-sustaining. It requires nurturing, defending, and constantly renewing. Honourable members, our parliament faces a number of challenges as outlined in a book by one of my predecessors, former Speaker, Right Honourable Matlapen Reimulong. His analysis was driven by a deep respect for our parliament and its potential. He identified the following key issues. 1, executive dominance over parliament characterized by intensified fusion of executive and legislative powers, which results in a blurred distinction between the two. 2, weak parliamentary committees. A lack of institutional independence hinders effective oversight by our parliamentary committees. 3, lack of independent budget analysis. The absence of a parliamentary budget office leaves members with no alternative but to rely solely on information from the very ministries they oversee, thereby reducing their oversight function to mere observation. All these structural gaps, honourable members, compromise the exercise of oversight by Parliament over the executive, legislative independence, and by extension, effective representation of the people who elected them to Parliament. These shortcomings are not abstract academic concerns. They manifest in daily institutional life. For example, Parliament's proposed funding remains a small fraction of the national budget, as just 0.2% of the overall budget. This includes a recurrent budget of 206 million pula, barely 0.2% of the 91,265,983,275 billion pula total, as a development budget proposal of 8 million pula, which represents a marginal 0.03% of the 23.38 billion pula in the 2026-2027 financial year. Such figures jarringly illustrate the constraints under which this institution operates. Constituency offices remain under-resourced, limiting MPs' ability to serve citizens effectively. A parliament that lacks resources cannot fully discharge its constitutional mandate nor provide the representation, rigorous oversight, and policy leadership that democracy demands. Although the above may be the case, I sincerely thank the current government for their openness and willingness to support some of our aspirations for an independent institution. This has been demonstrated through the significant, though modest, action of granting Parliament permission to open the office of the buyer, who independently oversees procurement of goods and services here in Parliament. With the allocation of a separate buyer, who for now we share with another government department agency, the Independent Electoral Commission, we expect that this will greatly enhance the speed and efficiency of our procurement processes. The 13th Parliament comprises 69 members, including the President and the Speaker. However, the composition reveals both continuity and concerning trends in our democratic representation. The current Parliament includes only 6 female MPs. Sometimes we express it in percentages when we are at international fora, so that we are not laughed at. And we say women represent 8.7% of the total membership. So this is a decline from the 9 female MPs who constituted 11% of the 12th Parliament. So the 2.3 percentage point decrease is a blemish on women's representation and represents a step backwards in our journey towards gender equity in political leadership. And of the current membership, 21 are returning MPs. That's 20 male and 1 female. That's the mother of the house, indicating a significant turnover from the previous Parliament. Consequently, 46 first-time MPs, that is 41 male and 5 female, now serve in this chamber, underscoring the urgent need for intensified capacity-building initiatives to support and encourage female representation within this honorable house. Further, the low number of women MPs significantly affects decision-making on issues that impact women, both within our oversight committees and in Botswana's representation in interparliamentary bodies. The absence of diverse perspectives can lead to policies that fail to address the nuanced needs of our population, thereby undermining the principles of inclusive governance. I've argued before, and I think it's worth repeating, that Botswana has a very small parliament, not reflecting its population of 2.4 million and over 580,000 square kilometers geography. A quick comparison in the region shows that Mauritius has 70 MPs with a population of 1.2 million. Namibia, 104 MPs with approximately 3 million people. The island of Seychelles, 35 MPs with 132,000 people. And Lesotho, with 120 MPs with 2.3 million population. Therefore, Botswana needs at least, at a bare minimum, 100 MPs, especially given its geography, given that some wards have radius of 80 kilometers, while some constituencies have a 300-kilometer radius. Simply put, the burden placed on a Botswana MP is huge. it's difficult and costly for MPs to meet with their constituents. For instance, take Honorable Kenny Kinoitiro Kapinga, member for Kavango West. When he goes to his constituency, he says he has to fuel one way, 3,200 pula, and driving between 12 and 13 hours. Take Honorable Dr. Korataone Edwin Dikoluti, Wena Beula. His constituency with 21 wards, including 55 villages. You can imagine the burden. So, it's up to you, the 13th Parliament, to make necessary changes. Reflecting on the past 20 months, we acknowledge that the 13th Parliament's journey began amidst significant fiscal challenges. The new government assumed office under strenuous economic conditions, a fact highlighted on numerous occasions. Yet, as I have consistently emphasized on previous occasions, our strength lies not in avoiding challenges, but in confronting them with unity and resolve. Now, on matters of welfare challenges, I'm glad Honorable Mutausane is here, the chairman of the committee responsible for rights and privileges. Special rights and privileges protect MPs from undue external pressure, but challenges remain. Beyond their tenure, many politicians struggle with employability, and their retirement benefits often fall short of ensuring dignified lives. It is in this regard that we have initiated a process to register a National Assembly Credit and Cooperative Society, commonly known as SACCOS. With the assistance of SACCO's umbrella body in Botswana, the Botswana Savings and Credit Cooperative Association, BOSCSA. Membership of the society will be open to serving MPs, former MPs, current and former staff, and their families. This is intended to encourage a culture of saving among MPs and improve their financial literacy, as well as to give them access to credit based on affordable terms. Given that MPs are not easily employable upon leaving political office due to the misunderstood nature of their roles and limited opportunities in the job market, this initiative aims to provide them with financial stability and support during their transition period after public service. We have also initiated discussions with other partners in finance, asset management, and insurance to train MPs in financial literacy and to explore the possibility of curating tailor-made fiduciary and long-term investment solutions for MPs. We thank, amongst others, Mashele, Minet, Mila Fund Administrators, and SACCOS Botswana. Recently, in our capacity building workshop, they capacitated MPs on this important aspect of financial literacy. Furthermore, speaking during the recently held pre-legislative capacity building workshop, some experts highlighted the need for healthy lifestyle practices among MPs, emphasizing the need for you, honorable members, to adopt healthier lifestyles and holistic wellness. The demanding nature of political duties often leads to neglect of personal well-being, contributing to health-related issues. It is therefore imperative to integrate wellness programs and promote a balanced lifestyle to enhance not only the personal health of MPs, but also their productivity and longevity in service. I gave this example recently that my 7-year-old daughter tried to negotiate with me, Mr. President, to perhaps explore working in a toy shop. She thinks it's a better place where she can easily access me. she thought that she can easily visit me at the toy shop. And I think this is a profound message to honorable members on work-life balance. This is something that you must take seriously and not neglect. The limitations on our parliamentary independence exacerbates the above challenges. With a minuscule share of national budget, as indicated earlier, Parliament is constrained to improve both MPs and staff's welfare. Despite these fiscal constraints, Parliament has achieved commendable economic milestones, a testament to our prudence and robust resource mobilization efforts through strategic partnership engagements. The 13th Parliament has also been able to pass 53 bills since its inception in November 2024. Our parliamentary committees have diligently convened numerous meetings with their respective ministries and stakeholders, ensuring robust scrutiny, transparency, and accountability in government operations. In the past 2 months, the Committee on Statutory Bodies and State Enterprises and the Committee on Government Assurances undertook rigorous examination of state-owned enterprises, government ministries, and agencies. The Public Accounts Committee is scheduled to resume its examinations tomorrow, demonstrating Parliament's steadfastness in its duty to monitor performance, demand accountability, and safeguard public interest. With the Committee on Government Assurances, for instance, the last examination of ministries was conducted in October 2020, interrogating progress made on the floor of the House in response to questions or motions passed by the National Assembly. Today, the committee faces a backlog of assurances from 2019 to 2024. And I believe that Honorable Dr. Kgobotswana is not here. You managed to clear this backlog. And the scale of this responsibility requires diligence, discipline, and institutional commitment. Yet oversight cannot be effective without adequate resources, and here Parliament faces its greatest constraint. Parliamentary committees face several significant capacity constraints that hinder their overall effectiveness. One of the major issues is the limited expertise among members and staff. Currently, there are 29 committees, and unlike other parliaments where a committee clerk typically services one committee alongside officers specializing in areas such as budgeting, research, legal matters, and expert advice, our system places the burden of all these responsibilities on a single committee clerk. So you can have one clerk responsible for up to 7 committees, which severely impacts continuity and efficiency. This situation often leads to scheduling conflicts and meeting clashing, and the committee clerks struggling to manage the overwhelming workload. Additionally, there's a notable staff shortage, particularly among committee clerks, who are shared across several committees, as I've indicated. This not only stretches their capacity, but also limits the support that each committee receives, undermining the quality of parliamentary work. Another critical issue is the lack of quorum, frequently caused by members serving on multiple committees. This overextension hampers effective sit-ins and decision-making process. Budgetary limitations further constrain the operations of these committees. Financial restrictions limit the frequency and length of meetings. Site visits, consultative tours, and facility inspections, which are vital for informed decision-making and oversight of our committees. Moreover, the practice of members serving in more than one committee leads to a loss of specialization. Members are unable to develop deep expertise in specific areas, which diminish the overall quality and effectiveness of parliamentary proceedings. Addressing these capacity constraints is essential for enhancing the functionality and impact of parliamentary committees. However, honorable members, the National Assembly is currently facing the following legacy issues and systemic challenges: limited capacity in the passing of laws, scrutiny on the national budget, and inadequate consultation with civil society organizations. unlimited resources, equipment, financial and human capital, which limits operational capacity and affects service delivery. Legal officers, public relations, IT, and finance are all seconded from other ministries and government agencies. As you can tell, these are core departments that are vital for the running of Parliament, since decisions pertaining to the deployment, progression, and welfare of the seconded officers are taken care of elsewhere. Parliament's business is often disrupted and constrained by this anomaly. It is necessary for these departments and personnel to be fully integrated into the structure and establishment of Parliament to enable Parliament to function optimally and seamlessly. Limited opportunities for staff growth and professional development are impacting retention and capacity building. This has led to inadequate skills, knowledge and technical expertise, and has over the years hindered the creativity and modernization efforts. Inadequate integration of performance monitoring and evaluation, M&E, such as planning, budgeting, absence of standard operating procedures, SOPs, guiding manuals, handbooks, tracking tools, dashboards, roadmaps, checklists, and frameworks. Inadequate ICT infrastructure and systems. Currently, Parliament is using obsolete and performance-compromising systems for the recording of Parliament proceedings. There is also a need for the upgrading of existing systems and the acquisition of additional systems such as legislative tracking tools, institutional repository mechanisms, and an intranet facility. All these are achievable, honorable members. Gender equality, limited inclusion of women in Parliament, which makes gender equality central to ensuring that formulation, adoption, and implementation of policies, strategies, and programs are undertaken in an inclusive manner. And facilities inadequacies. Parliament facilities are dilapidated and are therefore not sufficient to accommodate activities such as this very important national ceremony, meetings and seminars, hence the need for expansion and continuous renovation to maintain a higher asset value. These constraints have significantly limited our ability to adapt, innovate, and effectively manage the transformation required for institutional excellence. This calls for the initiation of a clear strategic framework, dedicated change management capacity, and robust strategic partner collaboration. Now, on some of our achievements and progress towards our vision, Mr. President, honorable members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, over the past 20 months, our collective efforts have been firmly directed towards tackling these challenges. Several significant milestones demonstrate our commitment to institutional transformation. On capacitating MPs and staff, recognizing that a strong Parliament requires well-equipped legislators and support staff, we are committed to continuous professional development and skills enhancement for both MPs and staff. Just a few days ago, we had a pre-legislative meeting capacity building workshop for MPs and another one a few weeks ago for MPs and staff, demonstrating Parliament's dedication to fulfilling its promise of pillar number 1. Through strategic partnerships, we have facilitated fully sponsored international and regional missions and capacity building platforms for MPs and staff. A total of 14 MPs, 6 members of Ntlwari Kgosi, Bembarona, 32 members of staff have undergone fully sponsored short-term capacity building training in China, estimated to have cost around 5.5 million pula. Similarly, both MPs and staff have also benefited from ITEC scholarship made available through the support of the Indian government. And to date, 1 MP and 9 members of staff recently underwent fully sponsored capacity building training in India, estimated to have cost around 971,000 pula, 640 pula. No ile ko honorable so 13 Yes. MPs have also been able to attend the US Embassy-sponsored International Visitor Leadership Program, IVLP, at an estimated cost of 2.1 million pula. They visited several states in the United States, including a visit to the Capitol Hill and to the other important institutions. Moreover, I, together with 3 MPs, were fully sponsored to attend the 4th Dialogue on Exchanges Conference in China. We have also secured sponsorship for our MPs and office bearers to attend meetings notably fully sponsored by the national parliaments of India, Morocco, and Turkey earlier this year. These experiences have provided invaluable opportunities for experiential learning, benchmarking against global models, absorbing best practices, and developing critical competencies, all made possible by the generosity of our local and international strategic partners. We have embarked on a comprehensive change management process, beginning with a strategy aimed at enhancing the efficiency of our systems and processes within the Botswana Parliament. Consultations with the Botswana Bureau of Standards are underway with a view to acquiring ISO 9001 accreditation and certification for Parliament and all its operations, including the legislative process itself. The new leadership has exploited several low-hanging fruits by developing standard operating procedures, mapping processes, reviewing systems, and implementing tracking tools, checklists, roadmaps, accountability matrices, and dashboards. Additionally, specified task forces have been established to improve organizational efficiency and ensure timely task execution. All these, I've directed the clerk that we need an app for Parliament, an app that will take care of all these. And we need not bother His Honor the Vice President and Minister of Finance, because the green funds are out there to finance this initiative, because it speaks to greening our Parliament. The capacity of the Office of the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and Leader of the Opposition has been significantly bolstered with the introduction of and recruitment of executive support officers. These roles were absent in the previous parliaments. Their presence reflects a deliberate investment in the leadership of this institution, ensuring that its custodians are equipped with the professional support necessary to discharge their duties with efficiency, dignity, and accountability. For many years, Parliament has been faced with challenges of movement of staff across different cadres. Since the beginning of 2025, there have been about 58 new appointments and 34 promotions, with a total staff movement of 92, further strengthening our institutional capacity. Recognizing that sustainable transformation requires diverse partnerships, we are actively cultivating stronger relationships with our partners. Ongoing and planned actions include bilateral engagement, targeted portfolio committee engagements, and vital interparliamentary exchange programs. Indeed, it is now common knowledge that the economy is not doing well. This now requires us and other government institutions alike to be innovative in attaining our mandates. Honourable members, it is my distinct honor to say that we are among one of the few institutions that has taken heed of the President's call to adopt austerity measures, the Vice President's call to belt tighten, to embark on prudent management of resources. As you know, we have, achieving financial sustainability requires creative approaches to resource mobilization and strategic partnerships that reduce dependency on single funding sources. In the past year, we have embarked upon a rigorous resource mobilization drive, and our strategic partners, both at home and abroad, have steadfastly demonstrated a profound commitment to our development agenda. In line with the above, on 25th September 2025, we proudly hosted our inaugural Strategic Partner Dialogue, marking a significant milestone in our vigorous resource mobilization efforts. I'm delighted to share with you, honorable members, and this esteemed gathering, that this initiative has borne remarkable fruit, culminating in valuable partnerships. We have signed memorandum of understanding and agreements, and we are in the process of more and more partnerships with civil society organizations, with think tanks here at home and abroad, and other key partners. Furthermore, it has paved the way for impactful capacity building initiatives tailored for both MPs and members of Nkululeko Kgosi and staff, fostering growth and development to date. Through the support of our partners, we continue to champion efficiency and innovation, upholding the principles that guide our progress despite economic challenges. For the 2025 pre-winter training seminar, we received contributions amounting to 1,068,400 pula, enabling us to build resilience and sharpen our institutional capacity. The end-of-year team building activities, which for the first time in history brought together MPs, members of Nkululeko Kgosi, and staff members under one roof, were similarly supported through generous donations and sponsorships from several partners. In 2026, our partners once again stood with us. For the pre-budget meeting, we raised 140,000, complemented by in-kind support for internet provision. This year's pre-winter meeting saw 294,600 pula being raised for the MP's capacity building workshop, again with vital in-kind support for connectivity. The Commonwealth Parliamentary Association notably pledged 540,541 pula, facilitating a pivotal capacity building workshop focused on enhancing Parliament's role in promoting democracy, accountability, and developmental outcomes. Similarly, UNDP Botswana has contributed an impressive 1,216,216 pula, providing technical support for the 2026 pre-budget seminar, pre-legislative meetings, and consultancies on parliamentary reforms. For this very ceremony, our partners once again responded generously, pledging 201,000 pula. Additionally, through the generous pledges from our partners, we have successfully facilitated and implemented critical office repairs and renovations for our office bearers, amounting to 1,054,000 pula. I'm pleased to note our continued efforts to strengthen Botswana's democracy. The Parliament of Botswana, in partnership with Frederick Ebert Stiftung of Foundation, Botswana Center for Public Integrity, BCPI, and the European Union, recently convened a joint oversight workshop themed Bridging the Gap, Parliament and Civil Society in Lobatse. This workshop brought together members of Parliament, civil society organizations, governance stakeholders, and development partners to enhance our joint commitment to accountability, transparency, public participation, and democratic governance. This collaborative effort reflects the essence of our democracy, where Parliament does not operate in isolation but thrives through active engagement with civil society. Such partnerships are critical in reinforcing the values we hold dear: transparency, accountability, and inclusive governance. The Bridging the Gap project also provides a timely opportunity for a formalized structure for civil society to engage with MPs and parliamentary committees. It is our hope that these formalized structures will minimize the antagonistic posture often adopted by non-state actors in their dealings with Parliament and the government of the day. There will also be a symbiotic relationship, reciprocal relationship, where accurate information will be shared by both parties, hopefully improving the quality of and accuracy of public discourse in this age of fake news and post-truth era, the era of alternative facts. The Bridging the Gap project was launched on the 23rd of April 2026 here on Parliament grounds. And let me thank the Right Honorable former Speaker, Dr. Nasha, former Leader of Opposition, Mr. Utweletse Mupo, and others who were part of the panel that discussed this critical topic of civil society and parliament. And this was sponsored to the tune of 2 million pula by the European delegation to Botswana and the Frederick Ebert Foundation, Botswana office. The operational mechanisms for the project comprises a joint oversight clinics between MPs and civil society groups. The amount is 200,000 pula. My apology. The operational mechanisms for the project comprises of joint oversight clinics between MPs and civil society groups, collaboration frameworks, as well as joint task force of MPs and CSOs, which is tasked with implementing their joint roadmap during the life of the project. All our members, the lessons and insights from the joint oversight clinics will serve as guiding principles in our legislative processes, ensuring that the voices of Botswana are not only heard, but also integrated into the decisions and laws that shape our nation. In the same vein, I would also like to mention the recent appointment of Honorable Victor Poloholo, Member of Parliament for Kanye West, as the new chairperson of the National Technical Working Group, NTWG, for the Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights, SRHR, HIV and AIDS and Governance Project. His appointment arrives at a pivotal juncture in the project's implementation, reflecting a renewed commitment to addressing critical health and governance issues. This project, implemented through a formal agreement between the National Assembly of Botswana and the SADC Parliamentary Forum, SADC-PF, signed on the 29th January 2026, strives to strengthen the legislative, budgetary oversight, and representative capacities of MPs and parliamentary committees, with a specific focus on SRHR. Ms. Mosarwa Sewabe, an experienced SRHR and HIV and AIDS researcher based here in Parliament, serves as the central coordination point for the project's daily activities, ensuring seamless execution and strategic alignment. Integrating discussions on SRHR, gender equality, youth development, and gender-based violence stands central to the project's objectives. This approach highlights our collective responsibility to cultivate inclusive legislation that holds the dignity and rights of every citizen. Parliamentarians maintain active engagement with their constituents, rigorously reviewing legislative proposals and policy initiatives that influence SRHR, tackle early and unplanned pregnancies, enhance maternal health care, and support key populations. In the same vein, all members join me in congratulating other MPs and members of Ntlwadi Kgosi who were elected to different positions at IPU, Honorable Maipelo Muputin Dikoloti, CPA Honorable Letlogonolo Barungwang, Pan-African Parliament Mongami Kgosi Mosadi Seboko, SADC-PF Honorables Helen Pushi Manyenen, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, and Honorable Dumelan Saleshando, Leader of Opposition. The following were elected to lead some important key committees of these institutions. Since the inauguration of the 13th Parliament in October 2024, there has been more than 35 official courtesy calls and high-level bilateral engagements between the Parliament leadership and foreign dignitaries, ambassadors, high commissioners, and other important parliamentary delegations. These included landmark visit by the President of India, Her Excellency Draupadi Murmu, who addressed members of Parliament during her state visit in October 2025, as well as courtesy calls by high commissioners, ambassadors, and heads of mission of many nations, including India, United States, Japan, France, the EU, FES, Open Society Foundation, Kenya, Russia, Ukraine, United Kingdom, Germany, to mention but a few. Other visitations included parliamentary delegation from Mongolia, Canada, Kenya, Malawi, Uganda, and other regional and international legislatures. And I joked with I don't know if it was Honorable Lucas, when we were receiving members of the opposition from Malawi. And I was saying to him, this delegation, the opinion polls show that they are in the next government. So we must welcome them and not turn them away. And indeed, that's exactly what happened. They are now the current government. On the 13th May 2026, the body of the late former president of Botswana, Festus Kgontebanye Mogae, lay in state in the parliament chamber, and multitude of Botswana lined up to pay their last respects. In a similar somber and symbolic gesture, scores of Botswana had also lined up to sign a condolence book, also in the parliament chamber during the period of mourning. The two activities saw our parliament hosting dignitaries such as former Mozambican President, His Excellency Joaquim Chissano, former Tanzanian President, His Excellency Jakaya Kikwete Mrisho, Zimbabwean Vice President, His Excellency Kembo Mohadi, and Zambian Vice President Mutale Nalumango, among others, who visited us. These sustained engagements have significantly strengthened parliamentary diplomacy, expanded Botswana Parliament's international profile, and deepened bilateral cooperation. Importantly, these relationships have translated into tangible benefits for Parliament, including increased technical cooperation, capacity building programs, institutional support, and donor funding from development partners such as the European Union, Frederick Ebert Stiftung, the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, the Embassy of India, SADC Parliamentary Forum, International IDEA, Interpares, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, the Interparliamentary Union, and other international partners, thereby enhancing Parliament's institutional development and its ability to effectively serve the people of Botswana. Honourable members, as you are aware, Parliament is a member of interparliamentary bodies such as SADC-PF, Pan-African Parliament, IPU, CPA, and Parliament Association of the Organization of Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific States, provides MPs with opportunities to engage in parliamentary diplomacy, knowledge sharing on best practices, and capacity building for quality legislation and oversight. Members of these bodies also provide a platform for MPs. Membership of these bodies also provides a platform for MPs from all over the world to discuss and address global issues collectively. Still in the spirit of innovation, resource mobilization, and considering austerity measures, we've been able to attend the Commonwealth Conference of Speakers and Presiding Officers of the Commonwealth CISPOC 2026 in India, again through the support of the Indian Embassy in facilitating sponsorship for flights and accommodation. The same can also be highlighted for the IPU Assembly 2026 in Istanbul, Turkey, demonstrating Parliament's commitment to resource mobilization. These concerted efforts reflect the innovative measures our institution has embraced to support the government's fiscal shortfall, showcasing our commitment to sustainable development and prudent financial stewardship. Botswana Parliament currently operates within an administrative and human resource framework that remains constitutionally structured and embedded in an executive control civil service system. This arrangement, inherited from the Westminster model at independence, constrains Parliament's institutional independence, limits its capacity to attract, develop, and retain specialist staff, and creates a structural dependency on the executive that is inconsistent with Parliament's constitutional role as an independent branch of government. These constraints are increasingly visible in the context of Botswana's fiscal consolidation, economic diversification agenda, and rising public expectation for legislative accountability and oversight. In this regard, we must draw inspiration from the advocacy of former Speaker, the Right Honourable Dr. Margaret Nananyana Nasha, who unequivocally championed the cause of parliamentary independence. Her unwavering commitment to ensuring that Parliament operates free from undue influence, serves as a guiding principle for our reform efforts. We thank you most profusely. Madam Speaker, sir. Honourable members, true parliamentary independence requires a robust Parliamentary Service Commission and an autonomous Parliament Budget Office. These institutions are pivotal in safeguarding Parliament's operational efficiency, enabling it to secure appropriate resources and manage its affairs independently. Equally, our outdated standing orders need to be reviewed to streamline committee systems and plenary debates, ensuring agility without compromising quality. Modern parliamentary reform is not about abandoning tradition. It is about refining our mechanisms to function effectively within a complex modern state. The legitimacy and success of these reforms will depend on the extent to which they reflect the needs, expectations, and experiences of the people. I know you have been moving to cut the times from your traditional 45 minutes, 35 minutes of debate, so that you are efficient in your work as honorable MPs. I also told the Business Advisory Committee that I engaged in discussions with the President, and he's not adverse to democratic reforms of our standing orders to allow for President's question time. So the devil is in the details in terms of the timing, the modalities. As they say, the devil is in the detail. Furthermore, we must look at the moral compass of this institution. The establishment of a code of conduct and ethics for members of Parliament is an essential safeguard for public trust. By codifying ethical expectations, we signal to the people of Botswana that this Parliament is governed by unimpeachable integrity. This is not merely a procedural reform. It is a moral commitment to transparency, accountability, and dignity. There's a pressing need for a public participation law, one that compels Parliament to consult key stakeholders in the process of lawmaking. Accessibility must extend beyond physical entry into parliamentary buildings. It must encompass access to information, opportunities for meaningful participation, and the assurance that citizens' voices truly matter. I was giving examples recently of some laws in our neighboring country, which were struck down by the Constitutional Court for lack of citizen participation in the process of lawmaking. And so we hope that the envisaged Constitutional Court will help in this regard. A modern parliament cannot design reforms for citizens without involving citizens. Nothing for us without us. That's what they say. Public participation and stakeholder engagements must therefore become integral components of institutional reform, not afterthoughts. We envision a parliament that actively listens, communicates openly, and creates multiple avenues through which citizens can engage with parliamentary business. Whether through committees, public consultations, digital platforms, outreach programs, or partnerships with civil society and other stakeholders, citizens should be afforded opportunities to contribute throughout the policy and legislative cycle. This is the essence of an open parliament, one that is not only transparent in its processes, but also inclusive in its spirit, where governance is co-created with the people and democracy is strengthened by the voices of those it serves. The IPU rightly observes, democracy is founded on the right of everyone to take part in the management of public affairs. It therefore requires the existence of representative institutions at all levels, and in particular, a parliament in which all components of society are represented and which has the requisite powers and means to express the will of the people by legislating and overseeing government action. The very word republic, I understand, is from Latin word republica, public affair. And so, what you do here must indeed reflect that. That is a public affair. Public policy ought to be an outcome of a plurality of voices. Honourable members, ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this address is not merely a rhetorical flourish. It is a roadmap consolidating and reinforcing Botswana's democratic legacy through parliamentary transparency, accountability, and public understanding. It is a call to action rooted in our national development philosophy. It aligns seamlessly with Vision 2036, our nation's blueprint for prosperity, which envisions a high-income, knowledge-based economy underpinned by robust democratic institutions. Vision 2036 reminds us that sustainable development cannot be achieved in the absence of democratic governance. And democratic governance cannot thrive without a parliament that is transparent, accountable, and accessible to the people it serves. Botswana National Development Plan 11 and 12 both emphasize inclusive growth. Parliament must be the engine of that inclusion. We must ensure that our laws do not discriminate, that our policies do not marginalize, and that our budgets do not exclude. The Committee on Gender, the Committee on Youth, and other thematic committees must be empowered to produce reports that drive legislative change and policy change. Parliament must be a beacon of inclusivity, a place where every Motswana, regardless of their station in life, where they can say, my voice matters here. In Setswana tradition, we have a saying, Mafoko a kgotla a mante otlhe. The words of the kgotla are all important. Every word. A person can be saved or condemned by words. This idiom captures the essence of parliamentary deliberation. The kgotla was our indigenous institution of governance, where issues were debated openly, where every voice mattered, and where decisions were reached through consensus. So parliament is the modern expression of that kgotla tradition. But like the kgotla, it must remain a place where words matter, where debate is robust, and where decisions are made in the full light of public scrutiny. This speaks to the collective responsibility we bear in safeguarding our national resources. Financial accountability is not the sole preserve of the Auditor General or the Accountant General or the PAC. Honorable Mabeo. It is a shared obligation of every member of parliament, every civil servant, and every citizen. When we scrutinize the budget, when we question the allocation of funds, when we demand performance audits, we are not being obstructive or being a nuisance. We are being patriotic. We are ensuring that the taxes of our people, drawn from the sweat of the farmer, the toil of the miner, and the ingenuity of the entrepreneur, are deployed for the public good. In conclusion, honourable members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a ceremony is only as serious as what follows it. It's as serious as what follows it. What should follow? This one is simple to state and harder to do. A legislative agenda pursued in public, a parliament that drafts and does not merely receive, an institution built to outlast any single government, in a house that looks, by the close of the 13th parliament, more like the country it represents than it does today. Let me pay tribute to those who have brought us to this moment. I pay tribute to the founding fathers of our republic, Sir Seretse Khama, who envisioned the democratic, non-racial, and prosperous Botswana. Kwat Masire, who consolidated our institutions and steered us through regional turbulence. And Festus Khontebanye Mogae, who championed HIV and AIDS response and national resilience. Lieutenant General Dr. Seretse Khama Ian Kham, and Dr. Eric Kiabetswe Masisi, who continued the legacy of service. I pay tribute to the unsung heroes, the clerks of the National Assembly, the researchers, the Hansard reporters, the security personnel, and the maintenance staff whose daily work sustains this institution. I pay tribute to the members of parliament, past and present, across the political divide, who have defended this house and the constitution it serves. I pay tribute to the people of Botswana, whose patience, resilience, and democratic temperament have made this country an oasis of stability in a complex and volatile world. As former Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, Tip O'Neill famously said, all politics is local. But in our interconnected world, all policies is also global. Botswana's democracy is not merely a domestic achievement, it is a continental example, a Commonwealth model, and a global testament to what African nations can achieve when they commit to governance by the people and for the people. Honourable members, the third meeting of the second session of the 13th Parliament is not a routine convening. It is a call to action. It is a call to consolidate our democratic legacy through legislation that strengthens our institutions, through oversight and safeguards our finances, and through engagements that includes our citizens. It is a call to reinforce the transparency that builds trust, the accountability that ensures integrity, and the public understanding that sustains legitimacy. We are called to be more than legislators. We are called to be guardians of the Constitution, stewards of the public trust, and servants of the people. We are called to rise above partisanships when the national interest demands it, to disagree with respect when ideology divides us, whatever that divides us, and to unite with resolve when our nation needs us. We are called to remember that the power we exercise is borrowed, that the authority we wield is entrusted, and that the privilege we enjoy is but temporary. In the words of a Setswana saying, this is the essence of our democratic philosophy. The Speaker of Parliament is not above members. The Speaker is the servant of the House. The House is not above the people. The House is the servant of the people. And the people in their collective wisdom are the sovereign of this republic. Nelson Mandela once said that it always seems impossible until it is done. Cesar Zakhama opening this parliament in 1978 made much the same point in a different register when he reminded this House that democracy survives if it is nursed and nurtured. Between these two observations sits the whole of our task in this meeting. Not to declare reform, but to do the nursing, session after session, bill after bill, policy after policy, until what we have promised today is simply how this parliament works. Honourable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our task is clear. We must reform parliament not for its own sake, but to democratize Botswana fully. Reform is the bridge between our proud past and the future we owe generations to come. It is the means by which parliament becomes independent, inclusive, and citizen-centered. Let us therefore commit to a parliament that listens before it legislates, that consults before it decides, and that empowers before it governs. Let us build an institution that reflects the diversity of our people, safeguards their rights, and amplifies their voices. This is not the work of one speaker, one party, or one parliament. It is the collective responsibility of all who believe in democracy, progressive forces, as we usually say. Together, let us reform boldly, democratize faithfully, and ensure that Botswana's parliament stands as a beacon of integrity, participation, and national unity. As we honor those who build our democracy, let us reform boldly to ensure their legacy endures. Honourable members, as we gather in this esteemed chamber, let us commit to being the parliament that champions inclusivity, equity, and the fullest representation of our diverse society. Inclusivity is the measure of democracy. Partnerships are the means to strengthen it. As we embark on this third meeting, let us do so with humility, with determination, and with a deep sense of purpose. Let us pass laws that protect the vulnerable, empower the marginalized, and uplift the nation, those who are subsisting at the margins. Let us legislate to uplift them. Let us scrutinize the executive with fairness, with rigor, and with the understanding that accountability is not hostility but partnership in good governance. Let us open our doors to the public, not as a formality, but as a fundamental principle. For Parliament belongs to the people, and the people have a right to know what is done in their name. Honourable members, let us go forward, guided by the wisdom of our ancestors, inspired by the achievements of our past, and committed to the promise of our future. Let us consolidate and reinforce Botswana's democratic legacy, not for ourselves, but for the generations yet unborn. Let us demonstrate to Africa and the world that democracy is not a foreign import, but an African heritage, a Botswana value, a living tradition. I wish to end with a Phoenix poem, Hope. Hope. You are not here just to carry the weight. You are here to see what becomes of you after the storm. There are versions of you awaiting ahead. Someone softer, someone wiser, someone who will one day say, it was hard, but I'm glad I kept going. Hope. Hope. Honourable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is therefore with profound honor and in a faithful discharge of the authority entrusted to me by this Honourable House that I hereby declare the third meeting of the second session of the 13th Parliament of the Republic of Botswana officially open. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, the Right Honourable Speaker of National Assembly. I thought you were stretching because we've been sitting for a long time. Order, honourable members, I now call upon Leader of the House to deliver to this Assembly the government's legislative program for the meeting, including the priority bills. Honourable Leader, note you have only 10 minutes to deliver your speech.
Let me start off by acknowledging the presence of the President of this Republic, Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, His Honor, the Vice President of this Republic, Rengosi Tindaba Hawalate, Your Lordship, Chief Justice Haola Pelwe Kepaletswe, Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, Re Kitapelo Korapetse, Lema Korapetse, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Deputy Speaker, and your oxygen, Re Manyeneng, Honorable Assistant Ministers, Honorable Leader of Opposition, Res Aleshando, Chairperson of the House of Chiefs, Kosi Malope, former speakers of the nation of this House, Honorable Members of Parliament, members of Diplomatic Corps, Permanent Secretary to the President and other senior government officials here present, the Clerk of the National Assembly and staff, members of the media, Botswana watching and listening across the country, ladies and gentlemen. It is my singular honor and privilege to address this august House on this truly historic occasion. Today marks a defining moment in the history of Botswana's Parliament. For the first time since our independence in 1966, the winter legislative meeting commences with an official opening ceremony. While this may appear to be a ceremonial innovation, It signifies something much more profound. It reflects the continued growth of Parliament as one of the foremost institutions of our democracy and reaffirms its place at the center of our constitutional order. This occasion reminds us that Parliament is much more than a building where laws are debated and passed. It is the people's house. It is where the voices of Botswana find expression, where government is held to account, where national issues are openly debated, and where decisions are taken that shape the future of our republic. As we gather here today, we must also recognize that the expectations of Botswana have never been this high. Across our country, citizens are looking to this House for leadership, accountability, and practical solutions to the challenges they face every day. Young people want opportunities to work and build meaningful lives. Families want an economy that enables them to live with dignity. Farmers want support to remain productive despite changing climatic conditions. Businesses want an environment that encourages investment, innovation, and growth. Communities expect safety, efficient public services, and institutions they can trust. These expectations are legitimate, and they remind us why Parliament exists. We are equally aware that some citizens have questioned whether Parliament has always lived up to those expectations. Some feel our debates have not always translated into tangible improvements in their lives. Others believe that political differences sometimes overshadow that urgent responsibility of delivering results. Rather than dismiss these concerns, we should accept them with humility. They should inspire us to work harder, listen more carefully, and ensure that the work of this House continues to improve the lives of the people we serve. Since independence, Parliament has remained one of the most strongest democratic institutions. Through changing times and different political landscapes, it has safeguarded constitutional governance, upheld the rule of law, and protected the peace and stability that have earned Botswana international respect. We pay tribute to those who have served this institution with distinctions over the past 6 decades. Their dedication laid foundation upon which we now have the privilege to build. Honorable Speaker, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to every political party represented in this House. Although we belong to different political organizations and hold different convictions, we are united by one constitutional duty: to serve the people of Botswana. Honorable members, our political colors may differ. Our philosophies may not always be the same, and our debates may at times be robust. Yet, as the late Ray Phiri so eloquently reminded us, we are all tributaries of the great river of pain. Like tributaries flowing from different places into one great river, we are united by a common purpose: to serve the people of Botswana and to advance the national interest. Ray Phiri powerfully reminded us in his song, Whispers in the Deep. While our struggles and hardships are individual, they eventually flow into the shared human experience. The song ultimately shows us how these turbulent waters eventually spill over into one nation of love, something that the President consistently reminds us of. Let that shared purpose guide our deliberations throughout this legislative meeting. Democracy is strengthened, not weakened, by the exchange of different ideas. Healthy debate sharpens our thinking, improves our laws, and strengthens public confidence in our institutions. Our diversity of opinion should never divide us. Instead, it should enrich our democracy and help us make better decisions for our nation. The 13th Parliament has inherited a proud democratic institution and tradition. Our responsibility is not merely to preserve the legacy, but to strengthen it. We must continue improving the way Parliament conducts its business, embracing reforms that enhance the effectiveness, strengthen oversight, and ensure that it remains responsive to the needs and aspirations of the people. A high-performing Parliament is not measured simply by the number of bills it passes. It is measured by the quality of its legislation, the effectiveness of its oversight, and the confidence that citizens place in the institution. Public trust remains the greatest measure of Parliament's success. As the President of this Republic, Advocate Duma Boko, has consistently reminded us, leadership is not about power, it is about service to the people. Those words should guide every contribution we make in this chamber. Every debate, every motion, every law should ultimately serve one purpose: improving the lives of Botswana. As the executive, we affirm our commitment to working collaboratively with Parliament in advancing Botswana's development. We look forward to constructive debate, rigorous scrutiny, and meaningful engagement as honourable members consider the legislative and policy proposals before this House. On behalf of the Government of the Republic of Botswana, I have the honour to present the legislative programme for this winter legislative meeting. While government intends to bring additional business before Parliament during the course of this meeting, 6 bills have completed the necessary preparatory processes and are now ready for consideration by this House. These are the Industrial Development Amendment Bill 2026, Attorney General Retiring Age Bill 2026, United Nations Targeted Financial Sanctions Bill 2026, Gambling Amendment Bill 2026, National Library Service Bill 2026, and the National Research and Innovation Council Bill of 2026. Government will also present 3 proposals that are ready for consideration: the Botswana Migration Policy, National Technical and Vocational Education and Training Policy, and the National Health Insurance Policy. The decentralization policy will be brought before this House once the necessary consultations and approval processes have been completed. These bills and policy proposals represent practical steps towards strengthening our economy, improving governance, promoting innovation, modernizing public institutions, and creating greater opportunities for our people. As honourable members consider each proposal, I encourage us to remain guided by one fundamental question: how will this improve the lives of the people of Botswana? The distinguished statesman Nelson Mandela once observed, "It is in our hands, it is in your hands to make a better world for all who live in it." That responsibility now rests with every member of this House. Similarly, Aristotle reminds us that the law is risen free from passion. Our responsibility is therefore to ensure that our legislation is guarded by wisdom, evidence, and the national interest rather than temporary political advantage. Honourable members, government and opposition have different constitutional responsibilities, but national purpose is shared. We all seek a Botswana that is peaceful, prosperous, inclusive, and just. Our debates must be robust and our disagreements genuine, but they should never become personal or undermine the dignity of this institution. The citizens who elected us expect solutions rather than conflict. They expect leadership that inspires confidence and gives hope. Whether they supported the government or the opposition, they expect Parliament to conduct itself with integrity, respect, and purpose. Let us therefore ensure that this House continues to stand as a symbol of democracy, tolerance, and national unity. As leader of the House, I reaffirm the Executive's commitment to working closely with the Honourable Speaker, structures of Parliament, and every honourable member to ensure that the business of this House is conducted efficiently, transparently, and in full accordance with our standing orders. Standing Order 8 entrusts the Leader of the House with the responsibility of coordinating government business and strengthening cooperation between the Executive and the Legislature through the Business Advisory Committee and the All-Party Caucus. These responsibilities require consultation, cooperation, and mutual respect, and I undertake to discharge them faithfully. Honourable Speaker, allow me to express my sincere appreciation to your leadership and unwavering commitment to strengthening Parliament. Under your stewardship, important institutional reforms continue to enhance the effectiveness, credibility, and public standing of this House. I also commend the Clerk of the National Assembly and the entire parliamentary service for their professionalism, dedication, and commitment to supporting the work of Parliament. To every honourable member, I encourage you to prepare diligently, study every bill thoroughly, and engage every proposal with objectivity, respect, and an unwavering commitment to the national interest. Let us disagree without disrespect. Let us scrutinize without hostility. Above all, let us always remember that the people who sent us here expect us to place Botswana before politics. History will not judge this Parliament by the number of speeches we delivered or the hours we spent in this chamber. It will judge us by whether we strengthened democracy, upheld the rule of law, restored public confidence in our institutions, and improved the lives of the people we were elected to serve. As we officially commence this historic winter legislative meeting, let us review, or rather, let us renew our shared commitment to saving Botswana with humility, integrity, and patriotism. Let this meeting be remembered, not only because it was the first to be opened officially, but because it demonstrated a renewed commitment to service, accountability, and national progress. Let us be tributaries that flow into one ocean of democracy, unity, and progress. May this Parliament continue to be a beacon of democracy, accountability, and hope. May our deliberations strengthen our republic. May our decisions improve the lives of every Botswana, and may God continue to bless this republic. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Leader of the House, for the speech. All members, order. All members, I shall now call upon Leader of the Opposition to address the Assembly. Honorable Leader, note you have 10 minutes also.
As is the practice in this House, Leader of Opposition responds to key addresses. I do have two sets of speeches, one responding to the Speaker, the other one responding to the Leader of the House. We'll break in time for dinner. On a lighter note, that shall not happen. Let me adopt the protocol already established, save to recognize the presence of President Advocate Duma Boko, Vice President Ndaba, His Lordship the Chief Justice, as well as the Speaker and your spouse, and my dear wife, lording above me somewhere up there. Today, we make history. For the first time, Parliament formally opens its legislative meeting, affirming that lawmaking is at the heart of our constitutional mandate under Section 86. I hope this ends any perception that this meeting is subordinate to any other meeting, be it the State of the Nation address or the budget. I also welcome another important milestone. Provision has been made for Leader of the Opposition to address the opening. I commend the Right Honourable Speaker for making this a truly inclusive parliamentary occasion, reflecting the vital role that both government and opposition play in our democracy. Parliament is where democracy acquires substance. It is where the aspirations of ordinary citizens are examined, refined, and ultimately transformed into law. It is where government is held accountable. It is where national consensus is forged despite political differences. And it is where future generations will judge whether we were faithful stewards of the Republic or not. The 13th Parliament occupies a unique place in Botswana history. For the first time since independence, political power changed hands peacefully through the ballot and not the bullet. The Speaker talked of a stress test on our democracy. That moment was not a victory for one political party over another. It was a victory for every Motswana who believes that power belongs not to governments, but to the people. It was a victory for the Constitution, a Constitution that has brought us thus far, and as we all agree, a Constitution that is due for comprehensive review to take it to greater heights. We must prove that democratic change delivers democratic maturity, and we must leave this Parliament stronger than we found it. Mr. Speaker, government has the responsibility to govern. The opposition has the responsibility to ensure that government governs well. Those responsibilities are different. None is superior to the other. They are both indispensable, dependent on each other like Siamese twins, and those from my generation like Mpho and Mponyana. The opposition does not exist to oppose progress. We exist to improve it. We question where necessary, strengthen legislation before it becomes law, defend the Constitution, and hold government accountable on behalf of the people. Where government advances Botswana's interests, it will enjoy our full support. Where improvement is needed, it will have our constructive engagement. And where the national interest demands it, it will have our principled opposition. This is not obstruction, it is constitutional patriotism. Mr. Speaker, as we celebrate this historic occasion, let us also strengthen the institution we serve. And I think I'm happy the Speaker made mention of this in his deliberation. Parliament's greatest asset is public confidence, built on fairness, impartiality, and integrity. The offices of the Speaker and the clerk must therefore ensure that every parliamentary process inspires trust and treats all members equally, regardless of the offices they may hold and from which side of the aisle they sit. There is also an urgent institutional challenge that demands immediate attention. Parliament cannot effectively fulfill its primary responsibility of making laws without adequate resourced office of the Parliamentary Council. It is simply unsustainable for an institution whose core mandate is lawmaking to rely on only 2 lawyers serving both the National Assembly and the Nkgadi. I wish to recommend setting up a real-time dashboard that shows the process of each private member's bill from the day an MP submits an instruction to the Parliamentary Council. This dashboard should be accessible to the general public too. We are accountable to the electorate, and they must see if indeed we are at work. Right, Honorable Speaker, outside these walls, thousands of Botswana are watching us. They are not interested in who wins parliamentary arguments. They are interested in whether Parliament improves their lives. They want quality health care. They want better schools. They want ease of doing business. They want jobs, employment opportunities. They want safer communities. They want an economy where success is determined by merit rather than connections. Every bill introduced into this House should therefore answer one critical question: will this improve the life of an ordinary Motswana? If the answer is yes, then we should proceed with courage. If the answer is no, then we should have the humility to reject it. Mr. Speaker, or Madam Speaker, the challenges before Botswana cannot be solved with yesterday's thinking. Our economy must diversify. Our institutions must become more transparent and independent. Where there is no value addition by an institution, it must be considered for possible shutdown. Technology is changing the nature of work. Climate change is reshaping livelihoods. Our young people are seeking opportunities rather than promises. These realities demand leadership of uncommon courage, leadership that makes uncomfortable yet necessary changes and decisions, the kind of decisions that would have been deemed by former President Raragaone as very foolish or very brave. As the opposition, which pledged today, as from day one, to discharge our constitutional responsibilities with dignity, integrity, and unwavering commitment to Botswana, we shall scrutinize without hostility. We shall criticize without malice. We shall cooperate without compromising principle. And we shall always remember that our highest loyalty is owed to the Republic of Botswana and to the people from whom we constitutionally, and we shall always remember that our highest loyalty is owed to the Republic of Botswana and to the people from whom all constitutional authority ultimately flows. Governments are remembered for their promises, for the promises they make. Parliaments are remembered for the laws that they leave behind. Let us leave Botswana laws worthy of her people. On that note, I am happy to share that despite capacity challenges in the Parliamentary Council's office, we have 6 fully matured private members' bills that will be debated by the House, emanating from both the opposition and the ruling party backbench. I must applaud fellow opposition MPs who have submitted several private member bills, over 20, that are still to go through the full cycle. I know that many of them are yet to mature, but I commend you for taking this responsibility seriously. As I draw towards conclusion, I wish to say to Botswana, we see you. There are parents who leave home each morning uncertain whether the medicines they need will be available at the clinic. Young people who wonder whether opportunity will ever find them. Workers whose salaries no longer stretch as far as they once did. Business owners struggling to keep their doors open. Pensioners watching the cost of living rise, and households making difficult choices every single day. To every Motswana carrying these burdens, I want to say this to you. Your struggles are seen, your frustrations are heard, and your hopes remain valid. Your hopes, Mr. Speaker, as the poem said, remain valid. Bagetso, re a itse, re a lemoga, ebile re tlhaloganya diemo tse di diragetseng. Botswana has overcome challenges before. So I ask Botswana not to lose hope. As the opposition, and specifically the Social Democratic Movement, that is Botswana Congress Party, I once again reaffirm our commitment to serving you and collaborating with you to make Botswana better for all. I believe that Botswana's greatest chapter has not yet been written. It lies ahead of us. As they would say in Bukalaka, Ndaboka, as they would say, Koraborahikwama Okuhepa, as they would say, Koraboremotsamai Helaboraho, Kialabora, Mudimolo Sohadzi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lu. Order, honourable members. I now invite the Right Honourable Speaker to come to his seat and chair the proceedings. Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members. Let us now go to presentation of bills. This won't take long, because I think we are only going to deal with first readings. Clerk.
Presentation of government bills.
Honourable members. I understand that the Minister of Trade and Entrepreneurship, Honourable Minister Tiroyaon Ntsima, has a bill to present. Honourable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to present the Industrial Development Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 3 of 2026.
Let the bill be read a first time.
Industrial Development Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 3 of 2026, first reading.
When for second reading, Honorable Minister?
Later date, Mr. Speaker.
Later date. Honorable members, I understand that the Minister for State, President, Defense and Security has a bill to present. Honorable Minister?
Mr. Speaker, I beg to present the Attorney General Retiring Age Bill 26, Bill number 4 of 2026.
Let the bill be read the first time.
Attorney General Retiring Age Bill 2026, Bill number 4 of 2026, first reading.
When for second reading, Honorable Minister Mohasa.
Later date, Mr. Speaker.
Later date. Honorable members, I understand that the Minister for State, President, Defense and Security has yet another bill to present. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have the pleasure and I beg to present the United Nations Targeted Financials Bill, Sanctions Bill 26, number 14 of 2026.
Let the bill be read the first time.
United Nations Targeted Financial Sanctions Bill 2026, Bill number 14 of 2026, first reading.
One for second reading, Honorable Minister Mohasa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Later date.
Later date. Honorable members, I understand that Honorable Minister of Trade and Entrepreneurship, Honorable Minister Tiroya Ntsima, has yet another bill to present. Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to present the Gambling Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 15 of 2026.
Let the bill be read the first time.
Gambling Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 15 of 2026, first reading.
When for second reading, Honorable Minister Ntsima.
Later date, Mr. Speaker.
Later date. Honorable members, I understand that the Minister of Labor and Home Affairs, Honorable Major General Pius Mokwari, retired, has a bill to present. General.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. I beg to present the Botswana National Library Service Bill 2026, Bill number 16 of 2026, Mr. Speaker.
Let the bill be read the first time.
Botswana National Library Services Bill 2026, Bill number 16 of 2026, first reading.
One for second reading, Minister General Mokwari.
Later to date, Mr. Speaker. Later date, Mr.
How about the one for second reading, General Mukware?
Later date, Mr. Speaker.
Later date. Order, honourable members. Order. Honourable members, I understand that the Minister of Communications and Innovation, Honourable Minister David Sere, has a bill to present. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon. I wish to table before this House the National Research and Innovation Council Bill, Bill number 23 of 2026.
Let the bill be read the first time.
The National Research and Innovation Council Bill 2026, Bill number 23 of 2026, first reading.
Word for second reading, Honourable Minister Tsere.
Later date, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Later date.
Oh, later date. Later date. Let's go to a presentation of private members' bills.
Presentation of private members' bills.
Honourable members, I understand that member for Tokweng, Honourable Penyo Mukiteso, has a bill to present.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to present the Children's Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 20 of 2026.
Let the bill be read the first time.
Children's Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 20 of 2026, first reading.
One for second reading, Honourable Seroko.
Later date, Mr. Speaker.
Later date. Honourable members, I understand that Honourable Leader of Opposition, Honourable Dumelan Saleshando, member for Mount North, has a bill to present. Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to present the Electoral Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 21 of 2026.
Let the bill be read the first time.
Electoral Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 21 of 2026, first reading.
One for second reading, Honourable Saleshando.
Later date, Mr. Speaker.
Later date. Honourable members, I understand that member for Tokweng, Honourable Penyo, has yet another bill to present. Also.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to present the Electoral Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 2022, Bill number 22 of 2026. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let the bill be read the first time.
Electoral Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 22 of 2026, first reading.
One for second reading. Waramaso.
Later date, Mr. Speaker.
Later date. Honorable members, we now go to the presentation of government priority list. Honorable members, I now call upon the Leader of the House to officially submit the priority list of government to the clerk. Honorable Minister Moeti Caesar Mohasa.
Ke a leboga mototegi motsamaisa dipuisano tsa palamente. Ke ka boikokobetso ne ke re o ntetelele gore ke tise dibili kana melao kakanyetso ye goromente a nang le tsone.
Honorable members, I now declare that the government business and private members' bills have been received formally, opening the lawmaking business of Parliament. Honorable members, we have come to the conclusion of the business of today on today's order paper. I shall now call upon the Honorable Leader of the House.
Mr. Speaker.
Procedure, Honorable Pule.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. We had a very wonderful day today. But I just wanted, for the sake of our president, to suggest a reform that if we can have an opportunity at Sonalia next session, leaders of minority parties should also be allowed to present their speeches. And I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, because this is premised on what we learned last week from the French women, that minorities are highly respected in democratic settings. Thank you very much.
Noted. Certainly, Honorable Pule, tatatswela re tokatsa re ntse re ya ko pele. Batotegi re tile ko bokhutong. Ke ta kopa moeteledipele wa ntlo Honorable Moeti Caesar Mohasa go sutisa gore re phatalale. Move a motion of adjournment. Honorable Minister. Order. Honorable members.
Ka boikokobetso motsamaisa dipuisano tsa palamente ke ne ke re ke sutise gore dipuisano tsa tsatsi jeno di bokhutong gone jana.
A re etsane batotegi sutiso ka moeteledipele wa ntlo Tona Mohasa ke gore ka tiro ya letsatsi wetse dipuisano di eme gone ha re phatalane. A re etsane batotegi tshutiso ka Honorable Mohasa ke gore ka tiro ya letsatsi e wetse a dipuisano tsa tsatsi la gompieno di eme gone ha re bo re tšhaisa. Ba ba dumalana le tshutiso e ba bua ka lentswe le le go godimo ba re ba sa dumalana le tshutiso e ba bua ka lentswe le le go godimo ba re nya. Ba reng ba bantsi. There are refreshments outside, so ba le sa itaganang le re join.